Brothers podcast, a Five Pillars production.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh, my dear brothers, sisters, friends, and the foes out there. Welcome to another episode, a very special episode of the Blood Brothers podcast with your host, Dilly Hussain. And guess who's back?
Your co-host, Aki Hussain. Assalamu alaikum, everyone. It's good to be back.
And today's not even an influencer or a rapper. That's when you usually come on these days, isn't it?
Yeah, no, I thought, you know what? There seems to be an opinion out there that Aki makes an appearance in the Blood Brothers podcast when he's a musician or a rapper or a Muslim influencer who's got some ambitions to reform.
Yeah.
But that's not true. It's just a coincidence, okay?
So you're not a clout chaser?
Absolutely not. Absolutely not. That's a horrendous accusation to make against you.
Okay. But today's episode is a special one for three reasons.
Well, first reason is because you can't find another word except for the word special.
Okay. I can't, I've accepted that special is just that word now.
Fine.
Yeah. It is intimately special. For three reasons. It's our 2-year anniversary.
Yeah, it is.
Can we have the round of applause, whoever the guest is? Wicked. This time, 2 years ago, we were sat in this room with Sim, big up to Sim, with the Mad Mumluks, and we filmed the first episode of the Blood Brothers podcast with one GH4R camera and some mad DJ looking decks he had.
Forget that. Look. First of all, it's crazy that it's been 2 years, yeah? For many people, that might not seem like a long period of time, but I assure you these 2 years have flown.
It's literally flown.
They have flown. I was saying it to my wife before I came here that, you know, it's this is the 2-year anniversary. She was like, what? It only seemed like yesterday that you did the first year anniversary, which was around last year Eid.
It fell on Eid, yeah.
Unbelievable. So yeah, forget the first podcast episode with Sim. Remember the first trial that we did?
Yeah, that was ridiculous. That was ridiculous.
We
That
spoke
was
for like 2.5 hours about Pakistan or something like that.
And the Sim was like, "No, we're not using this."
All I remember is Sim's face was like this.
Nah, listen.
We uploaded that, don't we?
We did, and then it got removed. There'll always be a special place for Sim and the Mad Mumluks. Had it not been for him and the fact that he flew out all the way from Chicago and got us started, the Blood Brothers may have never happened. In fact, it probably wouldn't have happened. So,
love to our brothers, and love to brother Sim especially.
The second reason why today is a very special episode to actually mark the 2-year anniversary. Our guest today is someone who's had I don't even know what the word is.
Well, I would describe this guest as being one of the masterminds behind the Blood Brothers podcast.
Definitely.
Certainly behind that transition from year 1 to year 2.
100%.
So I think it's actually quite.
In fact, let me just take a second. Mastermind was a perfect word, but this individual here, when he jumped onto the Blood Brothers project, he literally took it to levels.
Yeah, it's fitting that we have him as our guest today.
To review the 2-year anniversary and everything.
Absolutely.
He is one of the Don Diggy Dans of the Muslim podcast scene.
Absolutely.
He's second to Smile to Jannah when it comes to conspiracy theories. He's a loving brother. He's a dear brother of ours. He's our cameraman. He's our video editor. He's our graphics guy. He's our consigliere when it comes to the podcast. And that's none other than Mohsen Mastaan, aka Dawa Digital, aka wherever he is, my brother. Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum salam, bro. That was one heck of an intro.
It was, wasn't it? Do you even go on?
Okay, you're not used to this, are you? I've not been around for a while. You're not used to the interjections.
I know. I've missed it in one way, and I've also not missed it in a particular way.
Give him a poke in it, like give him a little poke, sneaky little poke to let him know that you want to come in, innit?
Okay.
And you can do this, you know.
Tell us a bit about the second name, Mastaan, because Mastaan basically means young and a bit of a lad and brave and Mastaan. Yeah.
Yeah.
So Mastaan is not the name on my passport for security reasons.
Okay.
I'm gonna keep it private, but
Okay.
Mastaan is actually my family name.
Okay.
So my granddad, he was known as Mastaan Sahib, yeah, and Haji Mastaan as well because he was a Haji. But yeah,
I think you're getting confused with the word masti and the word Mustaan.
No,
in Arabic.
actually,
no. He's been right because me and Mohsen spoke about this.
Yeah, yeah.
And Mastaan does mean
so it's
brave.
not Mustaan, which means
No,
like, to help.
not that. It's not the Arabic.
Okay.
It's Mastaan. It's the Asian.
This is a South Asian Mastaan.
Mastaan, which means
So
that.
we get that out of the way, because I've had people say to me, "You can't have a surname like Mastaan, bro. You know what that means?" And I'm like, "Yeah, I do in Arabic, and I also know what it means in South Asian languages as well." And I'm South Asian, so it doesn't really apply.
So in Gujarati, we have Dudwala, collector, what other wala we have, chai wala, but then you have Mustaan. Now, when you said to me Mustaan, I said to you in Bengali, Mustani means basically someone who's a bit of a character.
Yeah, flexing.
Flex, like brave.
Bro, let me just say, the Dudwalas are big in India, you know. They've got buildings in Mumbai.
But man,
Huge buildings in
man
Mumbai.
weren't writing any of the wallas off, bro.
No.
We were never writing any of the chai wallas, Dudwalas off.
We've got a different atak, which means a surname as well.
Yeah.
And that's called Bangla Wala.
Bangla wala.
And because of that, my family don't build over
That's
one
what
story.
these covers today. These covers Bangla Wala.
Everything's a bungalow.
Yeah. I see what you did there.
Dilly Bangla Wala today for the
So listen, Mohsen, we're honored to have you on, bro.
Alhamdulillah.
And you know what? Our introduction actually does no real justice to your
Like,
contribution
you're just
to the
bigging me
podcast.
up. It's unnecessary, bro.
No.
Absolutely. As an
I'm gonna do that. Whoop, whoop.
as an introduction to this podcast, I must say that we how much we value your contribution to this podcast is massive. So Jazakallah khairan.
Jazakumullah khairan. May Allah bless you guys, man.
May Allah make this relationship longer than it already has been.
Ameen,
and,
ameen.
bigger and better things to come. in the
But
future.
I have to say as well, thank you guys for giving me the opportunity, because I'm new to the podcasting game the way I see it. Because podcasting still hasn't peaked, right? But
You don't think so? It's been rinsed and saturated.
no, definitely not. The curve is still
Definitely,
going
yeah.
up.
'Cause look,
Yeah.
there's new podcasts popping up every other week.
Yeah.
So what do you think will replace podcasts?
Do you know what? It's difficult because podcast is user-led media, which you can download or stream, at your convenience. So it's not like radio where you have to tune into the show. You've got to be available.
Yeah.
So I think podcast got legs, bro. I think it's going to be there for a while.
Because think about it, it's the same way people access music. You don't have to. Back in the days, you'd have to go onto your specific music channel if you wanted to hear a certain genre of music on television.
Yeah.
Now you can just go on Spotify, Apple Music, whatever, download it, go on YouTube. Similarly with podcasts, I guess.
I don't listen to music.
You can,
bro.
and with podcasts, you could just listen to whichever episode you want when you want.
Yeah, absolutely.
But listen, before we go into the podcast scene, specifically the Muslim podcast scene, your involvement with various prominent Muslim podcasts, let's talk about Dawah Digital as a YouTube channel. How many subs is it on currently at the moment?
I checked it this morning, funnily enough. I think it's at 62,700.
And it's had, that's huge, mashallah. But it's had a big spike in the last year. Tell us a bit about Dawah Digital as a channel, how it started, when it started, and what was the initial content that was coming out?
I knew you were going to ask this because we discussed this. But I was thinking, when you asked me, when you sent the text in the group, and I was thinking, well, how do I talk about Dawah Digital? Because, I can only tell you a part of the story. Otherwise, this podcast will be just about Dawah Digital, because so much has happened.
That's fine. Tell us much you want. You're going to edit it anyway.
Subhanallah.
Yeah.
So, but long story short, and I hope it can be a long story short.
Go on.
There were brothers behind this who contributed. Shout out to Abdullah, who bought me my PC. Yeah, I had no job. He knew I was all right at video editing. He was like, "Well, what do you want to do?" I said, "I still want to make videos." And he was like, "Look, what do you need?" I said, "I need a PC because I've broken 2 laptops video editing." So we went and got PC, and he fronted the cost for a video editing PC back in 2015. That PC sat in my room for 2 years doing nothing.
Really?
Yeah, wallahi, it sat there for 2 years, almost 2 years. Yeah, I think we got it in June 2015.
So during those 2 year period, were you doing something else?
I was looking for work.
Okay.
And I was deliberating what to do, because the kind of videos I made weren't the kind of videos I wanted to make now.
Yeah.
Well, in 2015. So I basically, for 2 years, I was thinking, what can I do? And I came across these Speaker's Corner videos, and I thought, you know what? I want to do that. I want to film Speaker's Corner videos, right? But I ain't got no experience with a flipping camera.
Who were the superstars at Speaker's Corner at that time?
Then.
At that time, you had the regulars like Mansoor, Hashim.
Okay.
Yeah.
Ustad Adnan Rashid.
Adnan Rashid, of course. How can we forget Adnan Rashid?
Is this
You
bit-
know,
is
we
this-
had the EF Dawa guys as well.
Okay.
Right.
Brother
So
Hamza and these guys.
Hamza didn't. Hamza.
No, Hamza, no, Hamza,
yeah.
the
So
English
so
Hamza.
Hamza Mayet.
Yeah.
From EF Dawa.
Yeah.
All right. He was there as well. I got the opportunity to film them guys a few times. Alhamdulillah.
But this was before the dawn of Dawah and Ali Dawah and Hijab and these guys.
They
yeah?
were there. They were there. But you know, I actually went there because I was watching some of the older videos of IERA, not the IERA guys, like Imran Hosein especially, yeah. And Imran Hossein's IERA's Imran Hosein, sorry. I saw a few of his videos and I just thought to myself, this guy is like legend, you know, the way he
Imran's
corner
been very gas
atheists.
watching this.
Yeah, he's gonna get gas, bro.
Yeah.
But you know, I was like, you know what? I was fanboying. I was thinking, you know what?
Yeah,
I want to
he's-
go there, film this guy, and I want to get him on camera, right? I was there for a year and a half, and then he turns up.
Did you not think that Imran was like a B-Tech of Hamza Zutsis?
No,
Okay.
Hamza would use complicated.
Not that I think that either. I'm just saying.
Hamza, as Jamal would say,
Yeah.
right. Hamza, a lot of stuff he says goes over my head. Yeah, some of it I can
Hamza
grasp.
does that deliberately sometimes as well.
But
Yeah.
he's a very clever guy, you know. So
No, he thinks he's clever. Carry on.
yeah. So you're calling him a moron?
Yeah. I've called him many things more than that in private, but I love him as well.
By the way, the podcast you did with him was really good, man. I love that podcast.
That was definitely one of my favorites. It was definitely one of my favorites. And but we'll get to your thoughts about the Blood Brothers soon.
Yeah.
But quickly, let's just tell me. So Dow Digital, a brother called Abdullah bought you a PC,
yeah.
but
That sat around gathering dust for 2 years.
Yep.
and then you go into the speakers corner thing.
Well, yeah. So I went there with a iPhone and a microphone, both on selfie sticks, right? And I'm filming people like this, and I looked like I was looking for water. You know those water
Yeah.
diviners,
Yeah.
right? In fact, the reason why I know this is because one of these atheists, he laughed at me and said, "Look at this guy. He looks like he's divining for water," which I actually found funny at the time,
Yeah.
But I realized, you know what? I must look like a proper idiot, right? So anyway, I put about 6-7 videos out there. Subscribers went up by, I think it was in those first 2-3 weeks, it went up by from 0 to 200, and I thought that's brilliant. I've got 200 subscribers. That's 200 people who want to see what I'm going to do, right? So, and then I sent the videos on my WhatsApps to people. Said, check these videos out. Tell me what you think. And Abdullah saw him. He goes, so yeah, this is really good, man. Who does this? Exactly, it's got your logo on it. Because I had a different channel before, but I kept the logo.
What channel was that? Scimitar.
Scimitar Productions.
We'll get to that. We'll get to that as well.
Long story.
No. We'll get to that as well.
Okay, inshallah, right? So anyway, so I kept the logo. He goes, I go, yeah, it's my channel. He goes, yeah. He goes, have you thought about, what do you film with? I said, look, I film with an iPhone. He goes, you know, I've got two DSLRs, right? I was like, no way. He goes, yeah, I've got a 100D, and I've still got the 100D, and my wife's got an 1100. Right, which is a newer model. But
When Mohsen starts this, you know how he goes Hamza. When Mohsen does this, for us it starts like 100D, 200D.
So
okay.
all right, so long story short, yeah. So he said I can turn up with these 2 cameras. I was like, cool, let's do it next week. So the following week we went to Speakers Corner, and we filmed, me, Abdullah, and one of our mutual friends called Ashfaq. We filmed first multicam video in Speakers Corner. And that video took me, because I didn't have no proper editing software, I had to get a free software which was really buggy. It took me like 4.5 days to edit this 50-minute video.
Like 4.5 full days.
Yeah, man. Like I didn't have a job, so for me it was just like, let me see what I can do with this. And you know, I look back at it now, the video is good in terms of filming quality and this, that, and everything was all right, but the video went, you know, it done really well. I mean, the Arabic translation version is on 500,000 views now, approximately. And the video's called, for those who are listening, type in Hussein and the Apostate. The ending is special. The
Hussein-
ending, I don't want to spoil it, yeah.
Hussein and the Apostate.
Yeah, right. It's flipping amazing.
And
You
which
know-
Hussein? Is this Imran Hosein?
no, this is Hussein from Street Ordine.
I see.
Okay.
Right? Lovely brother, by the way, mashallah. Yeah, love that brother, man. So humble. And after that, I got the taste for it. I thought, you know what? All I want to do is multicam. I don't want to film single cam here anymore. I want to carve out a niche for my channel, because the subscribers and the views on that video started going up, and I'm reading the comments and people are like, Hollywood's just arrived.
Okay.
And I'm thinking, far from it, but okay, I'll take the compliment.
Yeah, but Bollywood really arrived. This was the Bollywood of the Dawas.
Bollywood
Is that
of
what you should
Dawasi.
say?
Yeah, I like that.
But if I'm correct, you started seeing a spike in subscribers. You started seeing some serious views.
Yeah.
And if I'm correct, you then at one point started taking certain videos down.
Yes. So
Why did you start doing that?
yeah, it's so what happened was I had this attack of conscience, if you like, yeah, where a lot of the stuff that goes on the Speaker's Corner isn't dawah. Let's get that straight.
It's highly entertaining, though.
It's highly entertaining, but that's fitna then, isn't it? Right? So it's fitna digital, not dawah digital, right? And there's a lot of arguments, and I'd argue that a lot of these arguments, which, if I'm being nice, I'd say conversations, do more to turn people away from Islam because of the akhlaq, because of the way Muslims carry themselves.
Do you think so?
I think so.
I think that some of these really fiery exchanges that, yeah, you're right, it doesn't have the normal Islamic etiquettes of conversation and dialogue.
Absolutely.
But what it does do, I have found, is it does instill a level of confidence and empowerment amongst the youth.
For viewers.
For viewers. No.
For audience and viewers.
Yeah, but that's echo chamber stuff, isn't
I
it?
agree
And
with
my
you,
channel is
Mohsen.
called Dawah Digital, right?
Yeah.
I need to come out the echo chamber.
Okay.
So what happened was I deleted about 50 videos.
Wow.
Yeah, it was what happened with me. Like, I thought that wasn't the reason. What happened with me was, well, it is the reason. It's related to. I was thinking, what if I die? I think about death a lot, and I thought to myself, what if I die today? What am I going to take to Allah, right? Which is, I encourage everyone to have this thought. Do this exercise regularly. What am I taking to Allah? It helps you to make you a better human being. God knows I'm not a good human being, yeah? So, and I thought, you know what? I can show Dawah Digital. And I played this scene out in my mind. I'm in this dark space. There's a light shining on me, right? And the angel was saying, so what have you got? And I go, well, what my deeds saying? Guys, look, there's a balance here, but
64,000 subs.
but
crazy.
That is big.
right? And I thought to myself, you know what? If it all come down to one thing I can show, and that thing's going to be Dawah Digital, how would it go down? And I thought to myself, well, the angel probably said you've done more damage to the reputation of Islam than good. So drag him by the forelock and throw him in the hellfire. And you know what? That thought didn't sit well with me.
How often did you think about this situation?
That was the first time I thought about it, and I acted straight away.
Okay, and you took down about 50 videos.
50 videos, panic.
Okay. And what were these 50 videos generally? Were they like these fiery exchanges and arguments? And,
yeah, a lot of them.
What are these debates and arguments?
There were debates and arguments, but the debates weren't fruitful. And I've kept out of the, I don't know how many videos I filmed of the 2.5 years that I was going Speaker's Corner. But I've got about 17 videos left.
Okay.
I think Speaker's Corners is quite interesting. And the reason why I think it's interesting is because, like you said, it's entertaining. It's very entertaining. You come across some characters.
It has its own drama.
Speaker's Corner has become, it's like the Octagon. It's
Yeah.
become a battlefield.
It has.
So people go there ready for a scrap.
Yeah.
For an intellectual or somewhat
Yeah,
intellectual.
a polemical scrap.
Yeah, it's going to be a debate, it's going to be a fight. And the person who comes with the strongest, most entertaining, most fiery, most hard-hitting argument is going to get the biggest crowd reaction.
And let's be frank about it. At the moment, the reigning champions have been for a while. Have been the Muslims. You know,
And I think that's a combination of the powerful personality, but also the powerful arguments. You know, our arguments are so strong, obviously because it's Islam, that it can, the audience will laugh along, and you'll get a crowd, and people will be like, why are you so stupid for? Why are you not understanding that what this prophet is saying is true?
But look,
And a lot of the arguments that some of the atheists or
dead.
people from other religions pull out with are
Rehash.
really ridiculous, because we've seen the more upscaled, high-level kind of intellectual versions of these debates in formal debates,
and they've been clamped.
and they've been absolutely taken to cleaners. So when we see people trying it, B-Tech in Speaker's Corner, whether they come from Christian backgrounds or atheist backgrounds,
Yo,
or
move that microphone close to your face, please, man. You sound like you're in a bathroom or something.
or Sikh or Hindu backgrounds.
Yeah.
I can see why Muslims, enjoy that.
Bro, let me tell you something, yeah? When the youth see Muhammad Hijab, Ali, Adnan Rashid, our brother some EF Dawah, and others, I'm even going to put, even though I disagree with Shamsi on many issues, but even on debating Christians and stuff like this, when young Muslims who are probably not practicing in the conventional way see this, and they have insecurities, they have a lack of confidence with regards to how to engage non-Muslims on these issues, what they will do is, I'm not saying this is right, I'm not saying this is correct, you do not take your deen from Speaker's Corner or YouTube. You simply should not be doing that. But nevertheless, in a world where they're not seeking any Islam outside of that, that's better than nothing. And at least they're coming from a position of what appears to be strength and confidence. But I'll posit to you this: you chose Speaker's Corner, must have knowing that this is what you're entering.
Yeah, I didn't think it through. I'll be honest with you. I didn't think it through when I first started going there. It's only afterwards I had my realizations.
No, but you knew what Speaker's Corner was.
Yeah, absolutely.
And you knew that it would bring the views in.
Yeah, absolutely.
So you were a bit of an opportunist at that time.
I can justify it. It doesn't make it the justification true for me.
Okay.
But I can justify it to other people and say, yeah, you know, I've got other content on my channel. Speaker's Corner is like a fishing hook.
Yeah.
It'll hook you in, bring you in, right? But the content that's on my channel now...
Was that what it was to begin with?
When I deleted the videos,
Yeah.
I was left with 2 or 3 videos only, which were just polite conversations between Muslim and non-Muslim, and that was it. So I had to really think about. I mean, look, bro, I used to go to Speaker's Corner with. You've seen my equipment. I'm carrying a backpack and I'm carrying my tripods, right? And I'm walking around all day, and I thought there's nothing to film today, and I stayed there till 9 p.m. and I got there at 11:30, 12. And there were more days of this than there were of actual filming, right? But I'll tell you something right now, bro. Like, I've basically been to Speaker's Corner, right? And the only conversations that I've kept, right, are the polite ones. So if you go to my channel, Dawa Digital, and you type, you know, you look at the Speaker's
I've seen it,
Corner,
bro. Yeah, there's not much dramas there.
there's no, and these are actual Dawa conversations, right? Like, there's one with Imran Hosein where he has a conversation with the same guy 3 times on 3 different occasions, spanning 2 years, right? So he's bringing this.
You really like Imran, don't you?
I love the brother, man. Come on, let's be honest.
So if you had to go on a boat ride and you had to choose him or Sabur, who are you taking with you?
Definitely Imran, bro. I've actually been on trips with Imran.
Okay.
Like, you know.
Who's the better cameraman and editor, Mello or Jamal?
Bro, man, like, how you drop that on me? Like,
No, I'm just asking you, innit? Mello or Jamal, bruv?
honestly, I don't know, because I think their styles are very different.
You've worked with both, you've seen both their works. I'm asking you a simple question, bro.
But every time I've seen them both filming stuff, I've only ever seen Mello filming stuff when Jamal's present, also filming stuff.
Okay.
So they work together as a team. So I can't tell you,
Okay.
you know, who's doing what.
Okay, cool, alright, bro. Who's a better line manager, Saqib? Who's a better line manager, IERA, Saqib or Isa? Has Isa ever been your line manager?
No, Saqib, for me.
Has it only ever been Saqib?
Yeah.
Okay.
I answered to Saqib, bro.
Okay, so if you had to choose anyone else besides Saqib to answer to, who would you like to work under?
Hamza.
What's this?
But he's no longer with IERA. So.
Okay, yeah. He's all sapiencing about elsewhere, isn't he?
Yeah.
No, I just thought I'd just get your thoughts on that, to be honest. So that was digital. I know you have an opinion on Jamal and Mello. You're just not saying it.
No, wallahi, bro. I can't. I'm telling you, I can't actually choose one or the other, and the reason being is because I've not seen them work.
Okay, fine.
individually.
I've
seen Jamal work individually, but I haven't seen.
Okay,
Mello work
okay, fine.
individually.
Okay,
Why are
then.
you pressing so much on this man?
Because I want to know.
Okay, cool.
So let's say someone had a Mac 10 to your forehead, your temple right now. You're gonna die, bro. Someone's gonna pop that right through your head, but they're telling you you're gonna film a 60-minute documentary on your life or the Dawahs in the UK, and you have to choose one of these 2 guys as your lead cameraman and editor. Who are you choosing?
Fantastically.
Because it'll be haram for you to now say kill me. You know that, for preservation of life. So who's making that 60-minute documentary?
I do that move,
Yeah,
turn the gun back on him, sort of thing.
yeah. And I'm gonna turn that question back to you now. So who are you gonna choose?
Oh my god, man, this is hard, bro.
Mello or
They
Jamal,
won't
bro?
take-
They won't take
You
it
know what?
offensively, bro.
Do you know what? I would say.
We have to check their rates out first as well.
Jamal, I would say Jamal, yeah. And the reason being is because I work a lot with Jamal, and Jamal probably. I've had a lot of conversations with you. I have a lot of conversations with Mello as well. Like, Mello understands my struggle, you know, to get into this game. So does Jamal. But with Jamal, because I work with him so much, I feel like he'll know when to start filming, if you know what I mean. Because you can't just roll a camera 24/7. You know, you've got issues like batteries and stuff like that. So.
Look, let me tell you.
Give me the answer.
No, that's fine. And I want to now elaborate on my position.
Can I just sort that camera out?
Of course you can.
One sec.
The reason why I ask about Jamal and Mello is because I have worked with both as well very closely. Mello more recently in the last 2 or 3 years, and they're 2 very different guys. even the way they film, the way they carry out the project. So Jamal,
Well, Melo's mellow, isn't it?
Yeah.
He's really mellow actually in real life as well. He's very, very chilled out.
He Mello is very mellow but when he's filming, he moves like Spielberg, bro.
Yeah, he's a beast, bro.
Like, is Nolan a director or a producer?
Director.
Okay, but either way, he's moving Hollywood, yeah?
Yeah.
Whereas with Jamal, I think what Jamal does, he accommodates who he's filming with. Jamal has been with 5 Pillars since day one. And his Sadaqah Jariyah to 5 Pillars has been those very super subsidized rates or free filming.
Yeah.
And we just have a relationship which is just purely in sync. So when I'm with Jamal, I'm filming as if he is just an extension of 5 Pillars.
Yeah.
When I'm filming with Mello, there's a certain mindset I have to be in, right? He comes with his whole chest harness thing, and he's doing all this kind of madness, and then sometimes he even says to me, "Bruv, just say what I told you to do," in it, and in a very mellow way. So I find their two filming style. He does. He sticks it on, man, but in such a nice, soft way. So I find it interesting.
So let me ask you, who would you choose?
I'll be honest with you. I'd choose Jamal. And that's simply because I've worked with him for longer. I've worked with him much closer, and I find Jamal to be more accommodating to who I am as a person, whether you're a podcaster, whether it's making Vox Pox, whatever it may be. I've worked with Jamal for much longer. I was Jamal's line manager for 2 years at IERA. Whereas Mello is someone who you have to adapt with Mello. He's the most softly spoken brother, a serious guy, yeah. You know, when Mello's in the scene, you know you have to be on your A game.
He's running an operation.
And because if he happened to be a bit of an alpha male kind of guy, even though he's so mellow, sometimes he may not be so accommodating to your specific habits. Yeah, Mello's all about, we're here to do something. Just listen to me.
Melo's serious. Melo's like Hollywood.
But there's a couple of times.
Take it to that level.
There's a couple of times where he's politely just said to me, just listen to what I'm saying and do it. Jamal has never, ever said that to man. Never.
Do you know one topic I have to say, yeah. If it weren't for Melo, I probably wouldn't have got the bug for podcasting, because the very first podcast I ever did was when Melo invited me around to his and said, "Look, I've got these new microphones. I want to test them out. We want to come round." I was like, "Yeah, cool, let's do it." So I went round. He showed me his room, which he'd converted into a little mini podcast studio. And we just sat there chatting breeze, just having a laugh. And then he sent me the audio recording the day after. And I heard my own voice through those really nice microphones. I think I was using the EVRE 20, which is a legend in the game, right? Very expensive as well. And I love the sound of my voice. Now, I hate the sound of my voice when I hear it back. So when I heard it through this, I was like, if this can make me sound like this is how I sound in my own head.
And is that audio quality that you refer to as eargasm, yeah?
Yeah. It's an eargasm, basically. It's not an earache, it's an eargasm. And I thought to myself, you know what? I want to mess around with this sort of stuff.
Does anything come out of your ears when you listen to it?
Just quality sounds.
Just quality sounds, yeah.
Extra quality
Carry on. I'm just curious, innit?
Unbelievable.
Boy. That was almost a bleep.
Yeah. No, some ears leak sometimes with water.
Yeah?
Yeah.
With water?
Yeah. when you think of your ears a lot.
Are you a fish?
No, very. Fishes don't have ears.
Are you a fish?
Anyway, listen. Okay. Look. Moving on from Mello and Jamal, both their links will be here. We need to, obviously, if you ever want to use their services, there'll be Nightscape Productions for Jamal, Mello Dean, and he has his podcast thing as well.
Podcast Studio Hire.
So both the links will be here. Fantastic guys, serious guys, well involved, and contribute to many Dawah projects. May Allah accept them from them both.
I mean.
Before we move on to the next topic, I want you to just touch on.
Can I just give a shout out as well? Because I gave a shout out to Abdullah and to Ashraf. Yeah. I want to give a shout out also to the following.
Yeah, go on.
Because I think you're going to top out on Dawah Digital now, isn't it?
Yeah, we're going to go to a similar.
Let me just, because I can't just.
Go on, Bismillah.
So,
go on, do it, bro.
Dr. Saeed Abdullah,
Yeah.
right? Nogul Durrani from Regent's Park Mosque.
Okay.
Right? And Nadeem Ali, who's the brains behind Dawah Digital. When I told him I want to delete 50 videos, he acid tested everything and told me, look, this is the direction we should be headed in, this is how we should do it, blah, blah, blah. So, but the reason why I mention these three is because they've also financially backed the Dawah Digital project. They've bought me cameras, they've saved up money and given it to me and told me, go and carry on. You want to do multicam? Cool, we understand. Abdullah can't be around all the time and you want to be filming as much as you can. Here's the money, go get the cameras. So that was in the early days because I didn't have a job. And, you know, I just wanted to do this as Sadqa Jariyah, right? Obviously, my channel's monetized now, but there's a reason behind that. And that is that when you monetize your channel, YouTube has an invested interest in pushing your content out to new audiences. And that works, right? Also, the people might say, oh, but the advertising, some of it's haram or whatever. I'd say, look, sort your search history out, because YouTube uses Google, which knows, and Google knows what you've been searching for online. So it's going to send you adverts that are relevant to you.
Even when you clear history and caches and cookies and stuff.
Then you're going to get generic stuff.
Okay.
Yeah.
Just wondering.
But the money that comes back to Dawah Digital through YouTube advertising is now getting reinvested back into the equipment and stuff. It's not a lot of money, but the truth is over a period of time.
You're not making as much as Ali and these guys.
Those guys, I don't even think they're monetized, bro.
Yeah.
I think those brothers have kept it because they don't need the advertising. Their videos hit big numbers anyway, right? So, alhamdulillah.
We're going to charge you £50 for each shout out, just so you know that.
So we're on £200 right now.
No, you've done a few couple of names. Imran was on about 1,000 alone.
I think I owe you money.
You have to monetize this video just to pay.
I owe you guys right now.
you know when you invoice us, obviously for the work that you do, the email, it says scimitar.
Yeah.
What is scimitar?
So my very first YouTube channel, which oh man, when I opened it in 2011, I had my first YouTube channel where I started putting videos up. And it was called Scimitar Productions.
What is scimitar?
A scimitar is a slightly curved sword you see in the movies, right?
Yeah.
Which Arabs usually have in the movies. It's a bit of a stereotype.
Like a
Arabs-
dagger kind of thing.
No, it's the long curved
long
one.
one with a slight. It's got a slight curve.
But it's more of a Persian sword, isn't it?
It's actually more of a Persian Indian sword, but
Yeah.
typically it gets portrayed as the Arab sword by Hollywood, right?
Okay.
And I thought to myself, you know what? I was a bit immature them days. I won't say immature. I just had a lot of jung in me.
Yeah.
Right. So I thought, I'm going to call myself Scimitar Productions. Yeah.
Yeah.
That was basically it.
What happened to the scimitar channel?
Yeah, man. I closed it down in like 2014.
Something happened in Saudi, didn't it? It did. Something happened in Saudi. Okay, fine. You don't want.
You really want to go there, yeah?
Yeah, someone basically something happened. He posted a video, and then there was like some protests, and then.
So you want the story?
So tell us what happened.
Right,
innit?
so this is taking it into because I can't just tell you about the story without giving you the backdrop to it.
Give us a backdrop.
Okay, fine. Let me just give you a very tabloid version of it, and you can tell me what's right, what's wrong, and what's
I
exaggerated.
might just say let's go with it.
Okay, so basically, you put up a video to do something to do with when either it was Dajjal or where Yajuj and Majuj are gonna come. You identified it when you went to Saudi to be somewhere there.
Wow.
You went there. You saw a Saudi officer with the one eye sign on his uniform.
Yep.
Then there was that kind of attack that happened in the Haram in about 2014, and you saw some Shi'i protesters and they had the logo or something of your channel.
No. There's half right, half wrong. So
Okay.
basically, what happened was I had a series called The Sacrifices, and the very first episode, which was the only one that was public, by the way, because the rest of the videos were a bit too deep for regular viewing. Because when you put out something and it's sort of conspiracy related, you get nutters coming at the woodworks in the comments section, and and
You're my favourite type of people.
crazy guys. Yeah, I like to think that I had a
bit like Kate Shemarani's people.
yeah. So oh boy, so I had a.
No
by the way, what happened to that video? I was looking for it the other day.
Is there?
No, it's not.
Yes, it is.
I typed in Kate Shemirani Blood Brothers and it starts to come up.
No,
You
it's
have,
there.
you had to change the.
We had to change title, everything.
yeah.
It just says read the description.
Yeah. It says
That's it.
episode whatever. Read the description.
Read the description.
All right, cool. So anyway, second video, like you said, when I went in 2006, when I went to Saudi Arabia for Umrah, I was there for the whole month of Ramadan. One day I was leaving the Haram in Mecca, and one of the police officers, he was like, "Yalla, yalla, come on, get out of here," sort of thing. Yeah. And I noticed on his arm, his left arm, he had the pyramid and eye, which was actually a triangle with an eye inside of it.
Did you actually see that?
Wallahi, bro, yeah, I saw it, yeah. And I thought to myself,
That is brilliant.
That's
You can't be rolling like the Haram with
You
them
can't.
arms like that.
bruv, and I thought to myself, what is this doing? I'm not sure if the eye was above the triangle or if it was in the triangle. Either way, that symbology is very powerful, right? And it alludes to something which shouldn't be there, right? And I thought
What
to
does it
myself-
mean?
it's basically related to, you know, Freemasonry.
Is it?
Right? Yeah, absolutely. So I thought to myself, what's this doing here? And now this hadith are, you know, matrixing in my mind, you know, Dajjal will attempt to enter the holy cities of Makkah, Medina, but on its gates he will find two angels brandishing swords protecting it, so he can't enter. And I thought to myself, so how's this here? And then it hit me. I go, you know, the fitna of Masih Dajjal could enter these places without him having to enter it. Right?
Are you talking about the Dajjalic system?
Yeah.
As opposed to Dajjal himself?
Yeah, absolutely, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So, but then it didn't make sense to me, because everywhere I'm going, it's all pious people, lovely experiences, you know, life-changing experiences even. And I'm thinking to myself, there's stuff going on here that I'm not seeing. But then from that moment on, I started seeing things like, for example, the Saudi police emblem, right, which was an eye. Right, and you can clearly see it. Some people can't notice it, but some people. And then I started
Why
noticing-
is that? Why are they doing stuff like that? They're
Bro,
asking for trouble, though, aren't they?
Bro, but here's the thing now, right? So
I'm trusting that you saw that.
So in
if
2011
you saw that, that means that's what they're wearing.
Carry on, I'm listening.
Are
Carry
you,
on.
are you quickly punching something in?
You're going, carry on, I'm
Yeah,
listening.
So in 2011, what happened was I was developing another video, and in this one, what happened was I'd done some research, just looked into Saudi civil services logos and emblems, and I just noticed a lot of them were sort of
Dodgy.
yeah, they looked like they were Freemasonry emblems, right? And I thought to myself, you know what? I'm going to do an A4 sheet
Bruv, they do as well.
landscape, yeah.
Still.
They do.
Yeah. Hey, well, let me see what you're looking at.
Oh, we thought about that.
Someone asked, you know, Sheikh Asim Al Hakim,
Yeah.
who has some crazy tweets. They asked him, why does the Saudi police uniform have one eye as part of the uniform? But I can't find it. But it's a thing. It's all over Google.
Is it?
Yeah.
So it's a thing.
So Saudi civil services, a lot of their symbology looks like it's Freemasonic, yeah. And I done a sheet and I put all of them on there, right? And I put it in a video. That video was public for about a week, and then I turned it to private. I made 3 more videos. I made them private as well, and I forgot about it. Years later, like I'm not sure if it was 2014 or 2013 or 2015. I can't remember exactly what year it was, but it was the year when the bomb went off in Medina in Jannat al-Baqi, and 2 police officers died, right?
Yeah.
Very sad incident, subhanAllah, right? You know, the Muslim world, we were shaken up by it. And what happened next was, I was looking on YouTube to see what was going on.
He's a skeptic, innit?
I mean,
Good. It's healthy to be skeptical.
I mean, but it's a thing. It's a big
click on
conversation.
that one. Click on this one here. That's on island. Nah, okay. Let's have a look.
Pause, man. Let me finish the story, guys. Man, why are you not looking? Why are you
Sorry,
looking at
sorry,
this?
bro.
I'm keeping this in.
No, but we listen. But we want to clock this
It's
eye.
wavy, innit? Like, if they can't be like.
Bro, I'll put the image up on screen for
Mine's
you.
got
fine.
Union Jack as well.
Oh no, it's mad. Carry on.
Yeah, so basically, I looked online and I saw that there was news trending at the time. I can't remember what station it was, whether it was RT or something like that, right? And they were showing not protest, but a celebration between from a group of Muslims who were either in Bahrain or somewhere like that, one of the Gulf countries, right? And they were basically at the border, or what looked to me like the border, and there were a bunch of them, and one guy was holding a pole here, and between him and the next guy holding a pole, about 4 or 5 people, and they had this big sheet up, and that sheet, what was printed on it was the image that I had made with all the symbols,
Yeah.
and they were giving it deaf to sound, deaf to sound.
And
Now-
this was
now-
from this was from your channel, wasn't it?
they say yes. So they basically jacked the image from the video in the early days that I had it as public, and put it up on a big flag thing, right? And no, I'm no lover of the Saud, yeah, right. But the bottom line is what these guys had done was take life, yeah, or at least that's what it looked like they'd done. It looked like they're responsible, and I thought to myself, you know what? Maybe I'm indirectly responsible. Now, I didn't know this was going to happen. And this is why conspiracy theories are dangerous. It turns people crazy, bro. Right? I'll put it like this. I threw a pebble out into the pond that's the internet, yeah? I saw the ripples go out, and then I saw a tsunami come back and hit me. That's what it felt like. So at that point, I thought to myself, you know what? Screw this. I'm shutting this channel down.
Okay.
And I lost sleep. I'll be honest, I have no qualms in admitting this. I lost sleep for about two nights or 3 nights.
Have you still got the login details for that channel?
No, I've shut that channel down. It's done and dusted, gone, lost,
Okay.
gone forever.
Off the face of the
Some of the videos have been downloaded and re-uploaded by other people. So you will, if you look for them, you'll find them. But I cringe if I see them come up on my feed.
That's cool. Look, we're going to explore some of your extracurricular interests in some of these areas later on in the podcast. But I want to now kind of move on to your involvement in the Muslim podcast scene, generally speaking, right? And you ReRooted, Blood Brothers. I know you're doing something with Yusuf Chambers at the moment, a new project that's kicked off. It's like a football podcast with a bit of a dawah angle.
Yeah, it's called Football Fatwa.
Football
Look
Fatwa.
out for that. I think it might.
wicked.
By the time this goes out, I think it might even be a thing. So
Yeah, so there's that. I know you even did like a Muslim dad's podcast as well. So and I know that you're an avid listener of podcasts as well. So it's something that we asked you at the beginning of the podcast. Don't you feel that the Muslim podcast scene is saturated?
it's whack, bro.
Yeah.
I'm telling you straight. Muslim podcast scene, I don't think it's got any real direction. There's too many cooks, not enough chefs. Everyone's got an opinion. And look, I love ReRooted because it's a project that I started. It's now morphed into something else, which is great because it's now fulfilling the vision I truly had for it.
The new setup looks insane.
Yeah,
Mashallah.
That was
Because now you've got like the whole editing whilst filming and there's interaction, isn't there?
Yeah, that was Sakib's idea, by the way, to have that control booth.
Yeah. Okay.
And when I heard it, I was like, man, that's crazy. I like it.
Never
That's a brilliant
had
idea.
Sakir as a creative guy.
No, he's very creative, mashallah. The guy is, you won't see him doing editing, you won't see him, but the guy's brains are very creative, man, mashallah. Very creative. Shout out to Sakib, man.
Yeah, shout out to the whole IERA family.
Another
innit?
50 goals. I'm in debt, bro.
Yeah, you're in debt. I'm charging you £50 for every shout out.
Rack up that tab.
Yeah, so go on.
Yeah, so but the set, it was a labour of love, sweat, tears, and cuts as well. Because I was working with real wood, and Jamal helped me out because I don't know how to, build a frame or anything like that. But I was tasked with building a set. And that's only because they saw me build sets before. Like I'd done the one for Mohammed Hijab, when
The green room,
which
yeah.
didn't really go anywhere because, I don't know the reason.
Really had
behind it.
potential.
You had a lot of
You had
potential.
huge potential.
A lot of potential. I only filmed 1 or 2 green rooms, which was one was with him with Dr.
Yasser Qadi?
No.
You had one with Yasser
That
Qadi, didn't you?
one was done
Private. That one was done just me, him and Yasser Qadi.
Was that not a Green Room podcast?
No, it was a
It
green room
was,
podcast,
but that was just done randomly.
That was random, yeah.
Yeah, I had no idea that was even going on, to be
Okay.
honest. And I found out afterwards. I was like, guys, we got a whole set. He goes, yeah, but Yasser Qadi's in this location. We have to go to him.
You know the ReRooted podcast. Now,
Yeah.
obviously, it being an official podcast of IERA, I know it has to have an overt dawah angle, dawah direction. It has to. But upon reflection of the first season with Musa as host, and obviously Musa's no longer the host. Who are the hosts now?
Now, Imran's the regular host.
Imran's a regular host. So, what do you think of the content?
Look, first, let me just say this. Musa grew into the role so well that when he decided he didn't want to do it anymore, it hurt me a lot. I really, genuinely have to say that I thought Musa in the last 10 or so episodes, even more than maybe 15 episodes, he was just like growing as a host in such a way that I thought to myself, how can this guy at his age be at this level?
How old is he?
I think he's about 24.
He's
maybe
young.
maybe a bit younger.
He's young.
Yeah, so, when we started, he was 22, I think, yeah. So, yeah, I mean, he was brilliant.
Is there anything about IERA ReRooted besides production, besides set? I know these things are very important. Is there anything about IERA ReRooted which you felt could have been done better? You can't think it's the perfect podcast, surely.
There's always room for improvement.
So what are those?
But I will say this.
But you're not going to get fired. Don't worry. It's cool.
No. But I will say no, bro. Alhamdulillah, I'm pretty happy with the way things are. Yeah, alhamdulillah. But I will say this: that when you work within limitations, sometimes you produce your best work.
Yeah.
Right. Whereas if you're given a free reign, sometimes you become overwhelmed with the creative possibilities and you can't commit. Right. But with ReRooted, that's how it started. We had this nice room, but we had bookshelves everywhere. And at first I thought to myself, oh man, bookshelves, how am I going to make this look like a podcast young people are going to want to watch? Young people don't read no more. They don't want to read. They just want to consume content. I wanted, in my mind, I wanted funky walls with graffiti and, lighting and this, that and the other. And I thought, well, I can't do that now. These bookshelves are here to stay. These books are here to stay. So I made the best of a bad situation and it turned out brilliant. I looked up what other YouTubers were doing who had their own shows.
Like who?
like well, there's a guy I follow called Peter McKinnon, and then there's Mate Hopia, I can't pronounce their names, and a whole bunch of other guys, right? And I'm
Have
not
you heard of Tiny Meat Gang?
no,
Okay.
I'm leaving that in.
It's a podcast.
that was a blunt no, but
Tiny Meat Gang.
It's a podcast.
so
Okay.
anyway, so I noticed they're using these lights called Philips Hue lights, which you can change the colors, and they're calibrated for video, so you don't get the flicker. And I thought, you know what? There's that wall there. We put some blinds on it, right where the windows are. We get these lights, we light it up like this, and we can maybe make it work. So I asked for a budget, and I was told by Hamza, there's no budget for the dawah. Boy, how wrong I was.
Yeah.
Because there's always
Hamza
a budget.
loves
yeah?
those bars, innit? There's no.
These are just tropes, yeah, right. So anyway, so I thought to myself, right, here we go, yeah. So I had to learn how to put in a project, which is a lengthy procedure. Obviously, it's Ummah's money, so we have to justify every
Of
single
course.
penny, yeah.
100%.
Like seriously, IERA is really good like that. They, if it doesn't meet their requirements, you're not getting it. Right? For every item you want, you've got to find 2 other similar items that are either cheaper or of the same level, and justify why you want
That one there.
one.
Yeah, yeah, I
right? It's hard, bro. You know, and I'm still learning that process now, to be honest with you. So I went through this process. Things got approved. Yeah, alhamdulillah. It was a back and forth process though. And you know, we ordered the table from IKEA. We got the microphones, which were the very famous Shure SM7B microphones. Everyone loves these.
And what's so good about them?
But we used them for the Faraz Zahabi podcast, didn't we?
Do you know what's so good about that
The
microphone?
Faraz Zahabi podcast, the Modest Street podcast.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you know
But
what
do you know what's so amazing? Well, not amazing, but they're legends. I'll tell you why that microphone's a legend. It's the same microphone that Michael Jackson used to record the Thriller album.
Really?
Yeah. And that's back in
That is fantastic.
80s, right?
I
So
feel privileged.
yeah, so here's the thing with microphones, the technology doesn't really move on. The technology stays virtually the same, right? There are microphone legends, right? Which, you know, people want because they've got pedigree, yeah? But with video and, you know, stuff like that, you know, lighting, this stuff will change always because we can always get better.
You're answering my question in a very political way.
Yeah. Navigate the question.
What
Politics.
Masterfully.
What are the areas of improvement from a content?
Because you have to understand, Mohsen, the way you started the answer was the Muslim podcast scene is whack.
Let me
followed
answer
was
that.
how amazing
Let me
the Muslim
answer.
podcast scene is.
Let me answer that.
So are you saying the Muslim podcast is dead because there's too many cooks, not enough chefs? But IERA ReRooted is the Don Diggy Dance of the
But I'm
podcast.
going to blow my own trumpet here, yeah? When I first...
Because I'm going to give you some thoughts about IERA ReRooted.
Good. But when I first heard, like, Blood Brothers podcast, I thought to myself, the content's great, but I can't hear this, man. You
Yeah,
know?
our audio was
the
insane.
audio was, like, flipping awful, right? And I thought to myself, that is really, really bad. Like, you guys, your microphones were over there, like, arm's reach, you know? And
Yeah, it was unbelievable.
And they're flipping dynamic mic. Not even. I think they were. I'm not sure if they're dynamic.
They were
condenser.
they were the dynamic ones.
Dynamic one, but they were like, you know, you got to be really close to a dynamic microphone.
We'll get to the story of Blood Brothers, bro. But Blood Brothers didn't have a budget the way IERA had a budget.
Yeah.
But he had the characters and the content and the guests to deliver a podcast which no other exists in the Muslim podcast scene. But we'll get to that. What I want to get from you though is that you started off by saying the Muslim podcast scene is dead, and then you literally praised without any serious critical thought IERA's ReRooted. So one could turn and say he's only saying that because he was involved in this project. He's only saying that because he's being paid to work on this project. That's hardly impartial by any stretch of the mile. So I'm asking you, if you had the free reins, to literally make IERA ReRooted, you don't have to answer to Saki, you don't have to answer to the board, you don't have to answer to anyone, you didn't have to answer to Hamza for season 1, any of those things, what would you change?
The set will be twice as big.
Okay.
Right? It's big anyway right now. It's 3 meters by 3 meters, which is huge for a set, for a podcast. No one can deny that. But I'd make it 6 meters by 6 meters. And the reason being is because I'd like that bokeh background.
You'd keep Musa as a host?
I would keep Musa as a host.
Would the conversations be more dawah focused or less overtly dawah focused?
I would invite only daees on as guests and let the conversation just happen. Okay. That way, you're going to have a conversation that has dawah in it.
As opposed to bring someone on who doesn't necessarily come from a dawah background, forcing it onto them.
Unfortunately, we've had guests like that, right? Yeah. I'm not going to mention no names, but in season 1, we had guests.
Did you feel my one was like that?
Your one, bro. Do you remember when we surprised you?
Yeah, and then you lot kept that out.
Ah, such a shame, man. I wanted it in. I fought to have that in, by the way. Yeah?
So
For the viewers who don't know, what we did was, we did a podcast with
Myself
Dilly,
and myself.
and what we done was halfway through the podcast, we had Hamza gate crash the podcast,
Literally came-
sit down, right?
It's like a
take the third
WrestleMania.
microphone, yeah,
It's like what you
and
said
start
about me.
laying into Dilly, and then they had this back and forth, which was really funny, really, really good. But we thought, you know what?
It's basically when I call him a chameleon, isn't it?
You called him a comedian.
Yeah. I call him a chameleon.
He's
Yeah,
gonna
yeah.
come bouncing into this room.
Yeah, he came in like, you know,
Say
like
it again.
You know, he came in like D'Lo Brown just came in like WrestleMania. Oh,
Rocking his jaw.
Rocking his
Can I
jaw.
just-
Yeah. Did you feel my podcast was like it was a forced dawah conversation?
Nah, bro, like your you know what, yeah. Let me just first say this, right? With ReRooted, the dawah element did come in, but it came in, for me, it came in a bit too late. It came in at the 30th minute onwards, when that should have been right at the beginning. Because these were the sort of targets we had to hit as a podcast, is to empower people, Muslims, to feel confident about Islam, to talk about it to non-Muslims.
Yeah, yeah.
And if you're just having a conversation and you're asking people, you know,
What you get up to in your childhood?
it's more like an interview, not a
Yeah,
conversation.
yeah.
But you know, having said that, Musa did grow into the role, and what he was doing in the last 10 episodes or so was
Dilly likes that
phenomenal.
type of podcast anyway.
What kind of podcast?
You know, the one's just like explore your life.
No, just explore life generally, not my life.
Dilly actually challenges, like I'm feeling it now, sitting here, but he challenges the guest. You know, he actually makes them, you know,
That's
you
fine.
do
Look,
a little research, don't you?
look, you've secured your job. That's fine. Not, I ain't gonna be on your case after. You've done a fantastic, colourful testimony of.
I'm not
IERA
working with
podcast,
ReRooted
right?
no more. That's
Okay,
the thing.
no, but generally you're still under the organisation, though, aren't you?
Yeah.
Okay, so that's all right. Your job's safe, bro.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so before we move on to the Blood Brothers, it is our 2-year anniversary, not IERA ReRooted, yeah? So we'll get into it, but I want to just quickly get your immediate thoughts on the following podcast. Islam 21 Sees Unscripted,
Sick.
Freshly Grounded.
I thought these were really good.
Look.
Especially the health ones. They're really good.
And Honest Tea Talk, our sisters.
Yeah, you know what? They're doing great work.
Yeah? You were there for the
First season, yeah.
the marital intimacy one.
Yeah, bro.
Yeah.
Do you know what? Let me tell you something about Honest Tea Talk. Honest Tea Talk is a podcast that I randomly stumbled across. I'd probably say just before Blood Brothers, and it's because my wife used to watch it. And she'd be in the background, and I used to be in the background. I used to watch it, some interesting subject, and the sister used to talk about things in a way that I didn't assume or expect sisters to talk about a certain subject. I thought it was really good. I think Honest Tea Time is a wicked podcast.
No, they deserve a shout out. Respect to our sisters.
Bless my sisters, man. They're doing great work.
The Mad Mum Looks.
Mad Mum Looks, you know what? I feel like the quality could be better. Having said that, I think they've stepped up the game recently. But I didn't like the fact that it was like a Zoom type podcast where you got each person in different location. I guess that would have been appropriate for COVID times, but they were doing that from before.
They saw COVID way ahead.
Yeah.
They
I
planned
think they
that.
caught it way ahead as well. That's why they went into that. Let's just stay in our rooms and
Yeah.
podcast from here.
Yeah.
That sort of thing.
Boys in the Cave.
You know what? They need more subscribers. I think what they're doing is they're trying to do something different, but I feel like they've kind of pigeonholed themselves a little bit as well.
Okay. So who else comes to our Ilmfeed podcast?
Yeah. You know what? I just feel like it's not for me.
Okay.
Are there any others?
Yeah, there's the Muslim Vibe has a podcast.
I've seen their logo. I've not heard any of the podcasts.
I mean, it's important to say that they are run by Shi. I have to say
Just
that.
as well.
So okay, interesting. Now on to Blood Brothers. You joined Blood Brothers first and foremost sporadically. It was whenever we used to shoot podcasts
In the other
at
spots,
Crown House, yeah. We'd bring you on, so you were there. Actually, not even you. It wasn't even you. Weren't even there for the modesty when it was Imran and Sakib that shared it.
But didn't Mohsen set it up?
Yeah,
He set it
set
up.
up, yeah.
And
For our Zahabi, he was there.
Yeah.
Dr. Yaqub
Till what
Ahmed.
time?
Huh?
Till
Till about
like
half,
1 a.m. or something. No?
2:30, bro.
Bruv, man. And that
Half
conversation afterwards, I was like, you lot can talk. I'm
And-
going home.
I'd work the next
And
day.
he was ready to stay. Brother Faraz, big out to Brother Faraz, man, Allah bless him and preserve him.
Ameen.
Legend in the game. I mean, he was willing to speak until 4-5 in the
He
morning.
was ready to go championship rounds.
Yeah.
Didn't the conversation go on till that time?
No, he said about half, and then him and Hijab carried on after 3 o'clock, but we had to bounce. But you were sporadically involved. before you came onto the project,
Yeah.
and you became our man on this, taking a lead on this, what were your initial thoughts on the Blood Brothers podcast?
I love the content. I thought this is because you're no holds barred. You challenge the guest, right, differently. Everyone else is sort of pandering to their guest, and for me that's right.
Yeah.
I can't stand it. I can't stand pandering. I'm one of these guys where I'm too old and long in the tooth to listen to people pat each other on the back and say, "Well done, Shabash beta." I'm not on that, right? So when I see a Muslim, sort of challenging another Muslim on certain things that they've said or done. Right, for me, I find that interesting, and you do it in a way that's respectful. It's not you're not trying to get a reaction out of them that's going to be like controversial or anything like that. It's just you want the truth. You want to know what the guy was thinking, and I like that. So for me, Blood Brothers was always for the life of me. I don't know why you call it Blood Brothers. I know now because it's you two,
two brothers,
right?
innit?
I thought to myself like, it's 5 pillars. 5 Pillars is like this amazing like organization. It's the only real Muslim news channel that we really have, right?
And you thought the name was a bit rough around the edge.
Yeah, and I thought Blood Brothers. This sounds a little bit violent, even.
Blood dripping off the mic.
Look,
You know what I mean?
Look,
So-
Two Caucasian guys having an arm wrestle.
yeah, look, Sister
It's
Naima,
mad, isn't it? When you think about it, it's crazy.
Sister Naima and others have raised it. But I think it's quite simple. Look, me and Aki, obviously siblings, so we're blood brothers, but
Yeah.
also the fact that every guest who is a Muslim, they are also our blood brothers because the bond of Islam is greater than that of kinship. So that's where the concept is from. And as for the blood on the mic, I know that's quite, I mean, I don't want to say violent, but it's quite powerful. But it's to say that
We leave it.
Yeah.
We leave it all in the podcast.
that's it. But the blood essentially means wala and bara. It means our loyalties to Allah, His Messenger, and the believers.
Nice cover. Nice cover. That's good.
That's a good save.
I mean, when we initially designed it, I just thought blood on the mic. We're gonna discuss things.
But the Blood Brothers was me.
with
and
no
you.
restrictions. People are gonna lead their.
What do you think of Aki's inclusion in the podcast?
I think it's brilliant, man. I like it. He's like Batman and Robin, innit? I don't know which one's Batman, which one. You're probably Batman.
Okay.
But he's like Nightwing more than Robin. He can do his own thing if he wanted to. Okay. Then he has when I've done that one. I can't remember was it Shaykh Imran's podcast? You
Yeah,
did,
yeah.
right?
It was, yeah.
Yeah, you smashed her in that, bro. I thought to myself that was brilliant. The way you held
I
it
don't
to
think I
account.
smashed her. I think she smashed everyone. I think she smashed. She smashed coronavirus.
While Aki's looking for an episode with terrible audio,
Look, I'm on the thingy one. Look,
it's the
I'm
Smart
on the
Digit, Smart
Digit
Channel.
It's ridiculous.
Shall I tell you something, bro? Yeah, we discussed this in the 1 year anniversary podcast. 5 Pillars is set up. I mean, Blood Brothers set up to begin was very, very basic, but there were things that we weren't doing ourselves. For example, mic technique. For example, we only had one GH4R, and then we were filming the other angles with our iPhones. Yeah, so obviously there wasn't a sync in color. Not that what you lot call about sync in color. So there were various things that we were doing like schoolboys. Yeah,
Sound quality is 5 out of 10.
yes, the sound quality.
Sounds like from entertainment,
So I think the consistent and frequent feedback was that our audio was not good. Yeah, have you got an example?
There's a lot of comments about the audio being at least 5 out of 10.
Yeah, like popping and like that, and obviously I should be eating barn as well whilst doing the podcast. But I think given the limitations that we had, Jamal was involved in the first 4 episodes. We had brother Dilwar on, respect to him as well. He worked for the bulk of the first 15 or 20 podcasts, and then I think you came on after that. Is there anything that we could do better besides our mic technique and all that? Is there anything that we can do better?
To be honest
Well,
with you,
I think it's quite good. Look, the guest quite conveniently has a mic right up to his lips. You have your mic right up to his lips, and I'm having to angle myself like this serpent cushion that I've got behind me.
Yeah, so-
I'm gonna have hemorrhoids by the end of this podcast because I'm having to sit and speak in this mic. So
So you need individual chairs,
Yeah.
those seats, right? Comfortable ones for the guest.
Are you comfortable
The
there?
hosts. I am, because this is an individual seat, yeah. But obviously, you've given me a budget now to do this room, right?
What do you think of the fact that we do film in my front room?
I think it's sick.
Do you think that it brings a bit of a personal touch to it?
Yeah, it does. But the thing is there are trade-offs, right? So you get that personal touch. People know it's your yard, it's your living room. But then you've got like this hard floor and these bare empty walls, and only a tiny bit of shag pile carpet, and I've got to work really hard to stop the echoes bouncing, because there's a lot of echo. If I raise my voice, you're gonna get an echo, right? And it's not nice to hear when you listen to it in your headphones, you know. So and the thing with podcasts is, you know, if you want to get that radio sound, then you've got to dampen the environment a little bit and, you know, work on it. I would do this room differently, but I've already had that conversation with you. And inshallah, in future episodes, when we start to do this up, it will happen.
Do you enjoy working with us?
Big time, man. I love it.
Yeah?
I ain't gonna lie, I love it.
Okay.
Like, my wife knows, yeah, that when it's a Blood Brothers weekend, like, you know, all I say is, I say to you, look, let me clear it with the missus. I say, I've got to do Blood Brothers. She goes, yeah, okay. And then I'm happy. Right.
Okay.
So she always lets me do. She never said, no, you can't do Blood Brothers on this Saturday or this Sunday. She says, go for it, bismillah.
And what were your favourite episodes?
Right, there's actually quite a few. I was thinking about this on the drive down here today.
So mention some of your favourites.
One of my favourites is the Imran and Sabur one.
I enjoyed that a lot.
Yeah, I enjoyed that.
I enjoyed that episode a lot.
Yeah, and I enjoyed it for the reasons that you enjoyed it.
Because you had about 10 cameras.
I had 5 cameras.
Yeah.
You know, and you know me, I love multicam, so I had 5 cameras to play with. Right, editing it was a nightmare, but I loved that process as well. Another episode I loved a lot was the one with your dad, bro. And
of course, that was
special. Again, 5 cameras.
Yeah.
But that's not the reason why. And if you remember correctly, I make no bones about saying this, you honoured your father, and right at the end, I became a bit emotional, and your dad called me a big wuss.
Yeah.
That was funny.
That's dad for you, man.
Because it's a beautiful thing that you guys done, man. Like, you know, an Asian guy honouring his father like that, you don't see it, bro. You know, so it was very, very special.
That was our most special.
Yeah, that's
hands down. Like, it doesn't even compete.
Yeah.
Any others?
Loads of us. The Jamal one we just did.
Yeah,
right? that was sick. What are the ones that I really liked? I like the COVID ones because that was something different. You know, when we had to do we
had to improvise. Yeah.
So the Skype. So I'm thinking, how am I going to make this work? How are we going to get the audio right? Because these people don't know about audio, so we had to get them to record the audio separately on their phones. Using the voice recorder.
You even salvaged the Dr. Abdul Wahid one. Do you remember?
Mate, that was a nightmare. Anyway, long story short, man, we made that work. They were good because they were very informative and they helped to remove a lot of doubt surrounding COVID-19, whether it's a real thing or not. And these guys, you know, they're leading figures, especially Dr. Abdul Wahid, right? Who's the leader of HT. Of HT, yeah. And he's telling you, if you're getting offered the jab, take the damn thing, right? And based on what he said, I told myself, if I get offered it, I'm taking it, especially because I've had COVID-19 and I've suffered the consequences of having COVID-19. So, yeah.
Not so enjoyable podcasts from our series. Ones that you were a bit dead, didn't understand any reasons to it.
I'm happy to contribute if you
I'm sure there was one that I filmed.
Yeah.
And I thought to myself, when's this going to end? Because I was just like, this is dead boring. Yeah, I can't remember which one it was now. It's so boring. It's literally like erased itself.
It's not going to come out of my mouth. You need to say it.
I can't. Not that I know which one. I'm going to have to go through the list then, innit?
Okay, so, okay. Right. Were there any episodes where you thought, don't really understand the reason for this?
Wait, let me just quickly say this. One of my other favourite episodes was the Frenzo one.
Okay.
Even though I never knew who Frenzo was, I don't like the hip hop scene in the UK or the rap scene in the UK, and I think, you know what, you Muslim brothers should stay the hell away from it. But what I saw in that, and I remember filming it as well, what I saw in that was he was very sincere, and you could see the pain in his face, you know, where he feels compromised as a Muslim who's having to do this work which he's very talented at, but he'd rather not do. You know, so he's caught between a rock and a hard place. And
that episode blew up.
Yeah, I think it's your most popular episode.
235,000 at the moment.
Allah.
Okay, that was huge.
Yeah.
What about the DJ Noreen Khan podcast?
Do you know what? I actually liked that podcast.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I did. I didn't enjoy it. I said I enjoyed it, but I didn't enjoy it that much. I just thought to myself, it was nice that you had someone very, very different as a guest. She's a DJ. She's on Asian radio. She's trying to represent.
But she was also local. Remember that?
Yeah.
She went
so
school.
there was some shared history. Your sisters.
Yeah. She went to school with my sisters. And
who was Mohsen there when we had the podcast with Babs?
No, that was Dua.
Was it? Okay.
That was Dua. What is your favorite Muslim podcast?
Blood Brothers.
And
I say that because when you're working in the dawah, the last thing you want to do is be when you want to chill out and watch something. The last thing you want for entertainment is more dawah, because then you just feel like, oh man, I'm drowned in this stuff. Yeah. Right. So for me, this is like a break. I get to see what's happening in the Muslim world. I get to see the different characters. I get to and it's amazing for me for that reason.
Would you say we have a dawah element to it?
Yes. For example, I think it was the very last podcast we filmed, which was the Odd Ads one. That podcast, I like the fact that, and we've done that in your kitchen as well, right? Which you're never doing again, by the way, right? Because
was it bad?
I had some issues with the lighting. That's what it was. I wish I had brought a light with me that day. So I'm leaving this here.
Okay.
Right. Actually, no, I can't because the charger's at home.
Go on.
But what happened was, I think in the first 15 minutes or so, you brought the whole topic to Islam and how long is rapping sustainable as a Muslim? Questioning, is it about the money? You asked him a question I thought was very ballsy. It's like, are you doing it because you're greedy? Right? And I thought to myself, that's when I started smiling. Inside, I was jumping up. I was doing cartwheels inside, thinking, man, if I didn't film this, I'd be watching this with a big box of popcorn, right? Thinking this is the favorite podcast because of the sort of questions you ask, mashallah.
But I think Oda's held it down though as well. Respect to him. I mean,
he
he was very thick-skinned. He didn't take offense to any of the things that we were asking.
Lovely brother, by the way. He's got a very sort of playful way about him.
He's a top brother.
Top brother.
A lot of love for
Bare love for our dads. What I was going to say was areas of improvement for us.
So,
besides mic technique, besides sorting out this room, what kind of guests and topics and stuff would you like to see more of?
To be honest with you, I think you guys are doing really well in that department. I don't think if the formula works, why change it? All you can do is improve upon the surroundings, right? And the equipment, things like that. Alhamdulillah, the equipment, we've got the latest, right? I reckon I could upgrade my cameras, inshallah, because I'm still only shooting in 1080p.
Okay.
But in future, when I can afford it, so if you guys want to make a contribution, check out my PayPal.
Okay.
It's on the channel, my channel, and move up to 4K cameras. And as well as doing this place, making it more sound ready for sound sort of thing.
Is there anything you'd like to see us add to the podcast as a new element or something interesting?
Yeah, man, there is, and I think I talked to you about this. I have talked to you about this. So we talked about how IERA is doing the control booth thing, right? And whenever you film a podcast, you always, I guarantee, I think it's 90% of the time. At one point you say, Mohsen, what's that word? Or Mohsen, what's this, that?
Yeah, I'll always do that. I always do that a lot.
But no one can hear me because I ain't got a mic attached to me. So I would love to have that element where there's a camera on me. I'm just chilling out, on my bare tuck, Right.
So you got four. You got 4 cameras. Use one of them on you, then, bro.
Yeah, but I have to get another microphone on me as well, innit?
Okay. So obviously working with us, working with me primarily. Generally speaking, I can say that it's been a very smooth relationship.
Alhamdulillah.
And that's given that you've got a lot to manage, a lot to juggle with. I know your workload with IERA is insane. And then obviously you've got the blood brothers, and then you've got other things that you're doing. And I will say that from a 1 year, maybe a year and a half, but just over a year's relationship, bro, things have been quite harmonious, but there have been times. And your level of work, mashallah, is so on par, it's so good that I know when something's not right in your life. For example, the thumbnail for my dad's episode. The first one you had the audacity to send me, I looked at it. And I thought...
Have you got a copy of it?
I haven't. I couldn't. It disgusted me so much. I didn't want to look at it. And he knows that.
WhatsApp chat history?
Nah, I can't. I don't know. But the point is, certain things Mohsen does, I look at and I'm like, he's not himself. Literally, it's not even like, I just know it's not yourself. So that thumbnail delayed the...
Can I just say, I love you, bro. In a way, yeah? Because when there's something wrong with me. And I don't think it's just because of the triggers that you see. I think it's other stuff as well. Like you will phone me or give me a text saying, Mohsen, is everything okay?
Yeah, but
you don't normally ask me that, but whenever you have, it's always been when I've had some sort of personal issue.
But I also do apologize after I've had a go at you, though.
But I don't really, bro, to be honest with you, when you have a go at me, I see you struggling to have a go at me so much. Half the time I'm smiling, thinking, this guy, man.
because I know I sent you a couple of voice notes that time. So, brothers and sisters, basically, we plan to release my dad's podcast on Christmas Day or Boxing Day.
Boxing Day.
And because of the atrocious thumbnail that you had the balls to even send to me, that delayed it. And no, it was New Year's Eve and New Year's Day. It wasn't Christmas or Boxing Day. And then I sent you a couple of voice notes.
I remember.
And my violin issue is always you prioritize IERA's work over mine's. Yeah.
And you know the funny thing is, Saqib always says, "Oh yeah, you couldn't do it because you're a Blood Brothers guy."
No,
you're a Five Pillars guy.
No.
So I'm like, oh, you guys leave it alone.
So and I think, but then literally within 24 hours you'll come with something. I'm just like, well, that's all you had to do, literally. And we had that with the intro. You came with some dead intro at first. I seemed like a Tetris kind of thing. I gave you some brutal feedback, and then bang, you came with something that was literally near perfect. So there has been these 2-3 cases, and it's always been. The funny thing is, whenever we've had these instances, it's always been with like quite critical stuff. My dad's thumbnail, the 50th episode.
I messed up on, but you know when it came to the intro, the new intro sequence for season 2, yeah. See, sometimes I've got to gauge what direction to go in.
Yeah.
So I throw something out there.
So how did you go from
by your reaction?
So how did you go from 90s Tetris to something that's quite powerful
based
now?
Purely on your reaction.
Okay, cool.
Yeah. And I sort of like think to myself, right, Aksi, you want something a bit more newsy, something a bit more. He doesn't want to let go of the old intro unless I can produce something better. But it's got to have an element of the
newsy feel to it.
So you've got these little the intro Jamal done was brilliant, and I took from
legendary.
Yeah, so I took from that in the sense that when you have the little cutaway scenes with the soldiers and you've got these little clips
the bombing.
So I thought, all right, this is all controversial stuff that you find in newspapers.
Yeah.
So I thought, you know what? Let's do a newspaper thing.
And it was sick.
Yeah, and I thought I'll insert you guys into the photos, right?
So how do you manage that then? So you literally just said Saqib has messaged me sometimes. Look what he's doing when he should be working. Yeah, he sent me. Yeah, once or twice he has. He goes, look what he's doing.
That would be out of hours though.
Yeah, but
not during.
But but okay. So forget about everything that you're doing outside. How are you managing Blood Brothers and IERA? Knowing that Blood Brothers and IERA and Five Pillars and IERA also have a very intimate relationship as well. So how do you manage these two expectations?
Alhamdulillah, in the beginning, right, it wasn't so full on.
Yeah.
But as time went on and episodes were being filmed weekly, more or less, I started to think to myself, I need a weekend off.
Okay.
So every now and then, I would have to basically just put my foot down and just say, I can't do this weekend. Can we do the following weekend? And that was how I managed it, because you can burn out. You can, as much as I love filming stuff and as much as I love editing stuff, and I really do, I love it. Yeah. Sometimes you can start to resent the thing that you love because you do it so much.
Okay.
So you've got to take a break away from it. Like even these episodes, like when I film an episode and I edit it up, I don't watch it till like a week to 2 weeks later.
So I know that you meeting deadlines for Saqib is very different to you meeting deadlines with me. Have I ever been difficult to work with?
I think your expectations were fair.
You think so?
Honestly, so even when you consider that, when you say that you were having a go at me, bro, I've worked in environments where having a go was not what you think it was. I mean, I literally got put into a corner with a finger waved in my face. Have a go, yeah. I've worked in those sort of environments in my life. So when you're having a go at me, for me, I'll be honest with you, like it's very mild, but I understand the urgency of what you want to say, so I'll take you on board. But in order to answer the question, right, which is, how do you prioritize? IERA does always come first. Whenever I've worked on Blood Brothers, it's always been either in the evening
or weekends,
or on the weekends when it's my own time. Yeah, and if I'm working, and I've had this conversation with you over the phone, right, where you said, "Can we get it out by this Friday?" And I said, "Bro, I can't this week. I'm in IERA till late."
And then I tried bribing you with more money.
Yeah, and I said, "I'm sorry, I can't. I just can't." Yeah, he has. He's trying.
That old Dilly trick never fails.
He has a few times now. But alhamdulillah, but IERA, it's like you said, the work of the dawah is fard. Yeah, with this stuff is not even sunnah. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh my God.
So
good Lord. Okay, I'm going to take that one on the chin. I'll let you get away with that one, Mohsen.
But no, because on the flip side, I do love this project.
Yeah.
And I think Blood Brothers is something that we need to represent ourselves as Muslims, especially in the UK.
One last thing I was going to say, the reason why I've always said for you to prioritize IERA is because had it not been for IERA, you wouldn't have been on Blood Brothers.
Yeah.
Do you understand? It was the fact that whenever we used to shoot the odd occasion at the ReRooted studio.
I'm going down another £50, man.
Yeah.
Shout out to Hamza, bro.
Yeah.
If you weren't for Hamza, bro,
Yeah,
Hamza put
100%.
look, Imran got my foot in the door as a volunteer.
Yeah.
Right? Hamza gave me the opportunity to do ReRooted.
Yeah.
Yeah. And if you weren't for Imran and Hamza, right, then subhanAllah, bro.
This wouldn't have happened.
None of this would happen.
No.
I would not be doing podcasts.
Yeah, 100%. 100%.
You know,
So may Allah accept it to all the brothers there.
I mean.
Bringing the podcast to a close, to the final topic of today's 2-year anniversary homage to, is it homage?
Yeah.
To Mohsen. We want to talk about, first let's start with your relationship with Shaykh Imran Hosein. When did you meet him?
Okay.
How did that relationship form? And what are your views on what people think of him?
Okay.
So when did you meet him first?
The first time I came across his stuff was on YouTube in, I think, 2008. Yeah. The first time I didn't like him in the beginning. I thought to myself, he's someone who's very eloquent, but is misleading the ummah with a lot of his predictions and not proper predictions. Yeah.
I mean, let's put it, many still do hold that opinion.
Yeah. Fair enough. That's fine. You have to be you have to be a skeptic. If you're not skeptical and you're just one of these guys who basically just become dogmatic about religion, then you're going against what the Quran's teaching you to do, which is to think,
Yeah,
and
of course.
to question,
Of course.
and to acid test things. Yeah, in the Quran, Allah says this book is for liqawmi yatafakkarun, right? For people who question things and ponder.
For men of understanding.
So this is what we encourage to do in the Quran. So if you do have that opinion about Shaykh Imran Hosein, good. And even he himself says, don't take what I say as a fact. Challenge it. He says that in his lectures. He writes it in his books. He welcomes the challenges. And I think that's very genuine. He's one of the very few scholars that I've seen online retract when he's made a mistake. And he makes a video about it. He says, I said this, I'm now going back on it. Reason being is because my opinions change due to this, and this coming to light. Yeah. And, subhanAllah, that's a really nice character trait to have, to be able to admit when you're wrong, right?
I'm not going to attack him in his absence. I'm not going to do that. And also I know because you have a level of respect for him. But obviously to people who are critical of him and his positions, according to them, he'd have to make an endless number of retraction videos. So... yeah.
Who are those two people?
Huh?
Who were those two people?
What do you mean two people?
You said two people who would...
No,
You said
there's quite a few
There's
people.
many people.
There's many people. There's more,
absolutely,
yeah.
absolutely. And there have been videos made about him and everything.
When
I will say this. There was an incident when I went to film him in a certain college in East London. I'm not going to mention the college's name.
I'll mention it. I'll mention it. Do you not want me to mention it? It's Ibrahim College, isn't it?
Yeah, it's Ibrahim College.
Yeah, our second cousin founded the college. It's fine. Carry on.
So basically what happened was, it was a setup.
Yeah.
So he delivered a lecture. There was a partition, sisters on one side, brothers on the other. I wasn't allowed to film.
Yeah.
They said, no, we don't want this film. So I sat in the audience. And the audience was literally the students, right? And the teachers.
Oh, you're saying the setup was done by them to bring him down to give him a grilling?
Yeah.
Okay.
And basically...
Killed it.
Did they pay him?
Bro, I'm going to tell you this story. Yeah? And this story, I'm going to tell bro, it's a big story, this one. So after the main lecture, they had a Q&A. And during that Q&A, they tried to grill him. And he just says, I've answered all these questions. He goes, I can give you a 2-minute answer. But if you want, I've got a feeling you're not going to be satisfied with a 2-minute answer because I've already answered it. You've asked it. Now you're asking the same question using different words. If you want me to really answer it, it will take an hour, hour and a half, or you can read my book, Methodology for the Study of the Quran, which is his methodology for the study of the Quran, right, on these topics. And then he said, have any of you read the book? They said, no. He says, well, it's available for sale over there. Buy it, basically, yeah, which is a fair comment. Right, you can't just go by I always say the Shaykh Imran Hosein videos are like the icing that goes on the cake, and his books are the cake itself. The icing can't support itself; it has to rest on the cake. The cake is layered. To get that knowledge, you have to read the books. Do you understand what you're saying?
So was that when you first met him?
The first time I met him was in, I think, January 2018. I found out that he was going to be delivering a lecture in Harmeem College in West London. and I just turn. See, I'm a raggle guy, yeah. I'll just turn up with my cameras and my tripods and my audio equipment, and if I see the opportunity, I'll just set it all up until someone says no, you can't film. And by that time, I probably got what I wanted anyway.
But Shaykh Imran has he's acknowledged you. He's given you a shout out.
So when they saw the quality of the footage, no one really had the sort of angles that I had. I got really nice close up of him from side view, and people are seeing Shaykh Imran Hossein's face this big on the screen. Yeah, they're like, wow, we can really invest in this, right? So that video got a lot of views.
What gravitated you towards Shaykh Imran Hosein, who, bro, please forgive me, but we can't deny the reputation that he has, and that is someone who, I mean, to even say a conspiracy theorist, bro,
someone who's off the mark with a lot of his
with
understanding and interpretation,
especially with regard to Islamic eschatology, especially the end of time stuff, right? People do think that he's not well. I mean, the position.
A lot of his positions are a massive stretch.
I don't agree. I'll be honest. I don't agree with everything he says.
His
position, for example, with the sun rising from the west being the rise of America, makes sense until you realize that there's very well-known hadith and even Quran ayat, right? I'm not sure. I think it's a hadith, talking about the sun rising from the west and about the sun prostrating and rising, and asking for permission to do so until one day its prostration, his request to rise will be denied by Allah, and then when it will rise again, it will be from the west. So that's a physical rising of the sun from the west, not from the east.
I mean, that's one of many things.
Also, the fact that the hadith says that the sun will rise,
not
people.
I mean, look, the way he explains it is America was relatively undiscovered. When it became discovered and it came to power, you can now say that the sun rises in the west, because for us, when it sets, it's rising somewhere else.
Bit of a stretch, though.
Bit of a stretch.
Yeah. No, actually, not even a base.
There was a time when I thought to myself, that's a valid opinion, and I think I had this conversation.
Yeah, you did. But generally speaking, look, even with the time of Scimitar, the channel that you closed, even just you as a person, the fact that even at the beginning of this podcast you spoke about envisaging meeting Allah and the angels with just you're quite a imaginative guy.
You have to be when you're creative, right?
You are, but what made you gravitate towards Shaykh Imran as someone? Because what's the most popular video on Dawah Digital?
Shaykh Imran Hosein video called The Private Session.
So the private session, is this something because there is a genuine what's the word I'm looking for? A genuine interest, liking towards him, or is it that you know that filming his videos and milking it will get you lots of views as well?
Are you interested in the content, or are you interested in the audience and the kind of reactions that Imran Hosein gets from people?
The reactions are mixed, man. And I'll be honest with you, moderating a channel is hard work. In the beginning, when I had Dawah Digital in the early days, I would spend an hour a day moderating comments, blocking users, deleting comments, answering genuine queries, this, that, and the other, until you build your channel up and you have like you have your foot soldiers, if you like, who basically do that work for you. Right. So today I spend about an hour a week, whereas before it would be like a whole. If I count the whole week, I would have spent 7 hours, which is a working day, just moderating comments. It's a headache. I don't need it. Right. But with Shaykh Imran Hosein, look, I've met the guy several times. I've filmed him several times. There's still videos that I've got of his which I need to edit up and throw out there, but I haven't done so. Right. I've sat down. I've broke bread with the guy. We've had biryani together. Yeah, as much as he says you can go home and eat your biryani, right? I know he loves biryani, right?
Chicken or lamb,
bro. Has to be lamb, man. Chicken biryani is a bid'ah, bro. Okay. Bid'ah Hassan, but still bid'ah, yeah. Right? It should be that should be in the realms of akhni palav, right? Yeah, you keep biryani as lamb, please. But yeah, apart from my wife's chicken biryani, she makes a very good chicken biryani.
Yeah, I've noticed how Adam has got quite a few shout-outs in this podcast. Carry on.
Don't charge me for those.
No, you're not gonna get charged for those. Right. She releases you for the weekend for our work, so I can't really say much.
Is it possible that these people are just lame and just a bit sad?
It's always
that they want to sound a bit cultish and a bit other. So
are you talking about in terms of like Shaykh Imran Hosein, people like this?
No.
These musicians and these
Madonna, Jay-Z, Beyonce, Drake.
I can't speak. I don't know who they. But you know what? I see it as a.
What did you just say? Did you just say you don't know who they are?
I can't speak for them. Yeah?
No, but I don't see Madonna and Jay-Z and Beyonce being massive helpers to the job.
What I will say is that these people are.
No, they can be bro. Come on, bro. They
wasn't knowingly, as in this is one of their aspirations in life that Beyonce and Jay-Z have got together. And
not together. No. But they can be knowingly or unknowingly playing into the dissemination of certain symbolism which represents something, bro.
Look, I would argue that in a society globally that is largely secular in terms of media, entertainment, whether that's social media, whether that's movies, music, religion is not something that is very popular, interesting, or makes for good entertainment.
Secularism is a religion itself, bro.
Okay, what I'm trying to say is following a religion or taking religion as an inspiration for music, for entertainment, whether that's movies or programs or music, is not very interesting. So what happens is generations moving forward, they move away from religion, as we know, and you have many people who are atheists and who are agnostic, or who religion doesn't feature in their life at all.
Well, they go into cults.
So therefore they make music, and their music is going to be about popular culture. It's going to be about drugs, it's going to be about women and men,
I mean,
and clubbing.
You hear people who love music saying things like, music is my religion.
Oh, that's a very common one.
Obviously, right?
No, that's because they can't find another word to describe something that is really important in their life.
Who was it who said everyone worships something? Even if you're an atheist, you worship something.
That's because people
That's
can't
standard.
find...
It's a reverence instinct.
I would argue they're trying to find a word that is most fitting to what they're trying to communicate. It's like someone saying, "Oh, you know, you're as old as religion."
Basically, bro, Aki.
Look, the people of Lut, they were doing madness back then, and they didn't need, you know, Jay-Z or Madonna or whoever else might be to encourage them to do what they were doing.
Are you basically
and you can, and what they were doing is high level.
Okay. Yeah.
To the point where they had a prophet come down to tell them to stop doing that, and then they had to be destroyed.
So what are you trying to convey over to Mohsen?
I'm trying to convey, not to Mohsen, to anyone who tries to find meaning, wider, broader meaning in popular culture, that it doesn't have to be that there is some type of sophisticated method behind popular culture, and that is preparing society for Antichrist.
Okay. Let me stop you there. That's what it is. Let me stop you there. But look, today you're going to see many videos come out from Muslim YouTubers who are quoting scholars other than Shaykh Imran Hosein, who are, and you've probably seen these on your feed, where they say all the minor signs have now are now out there. We're just waiting for the major ones, right? Bro, you go back 10 years, no one's making videos like that. The only person who was saying this sort of stuff was Shaykh Imran Hosein. Whether you like it or not, that's how it was, right? Mind you, having said that, if you look at, who was the other guy from Pakistan, man? I always forget.
Who?
Dr.
Israr
Ahmed, yeah.
Rahimahullah.
He was a contemporary of Shaykh Imran Hosein. They studied under the same scholar, right?
Sheikh Israr is from the Khilafat movement in Pakistan, a great man, great scholar.
You could be argued he was the conspiracy theorist of his day, because of some of the stuff that he said,
but
which was at that time very unorthodox and now hit the mainstream amongst Muslim scholars.
Don't get me wrong. Look.
So look, sometimes it takes time for an idea to become accepted.
So why
you have to have those rebels?
Okay.
Who are willing to say something.
Mohsen, I'm arguing that the idea itself is a problem. I don't care whether
Which idea?
The idea that there is broader, more deeper, sophisticated meaning behind popular culture, and that this is somehow contributing towards preparing society towards Antichrist.
Well, how else would you measure that?
The Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, when he speaks about Dajjal, he speaks about Dajjal as a coming, towards the end of time, and there isn't really much other commentary on how society somehow will prepare for the coming of Dajjal. Rather, Dajjal is going to come towards the end of time.
Can I say something? But you have to also appreciate that the Prophet ﷺ did say very explicitly that he will have followers in their droves.
He will have followers in their droves because he'll be killing people and bringing them back to life. He'll have wealth following him. He'll be traveling.
He'll bring the rain,
and he'll have wealth. He will perform miracles. So it's like me asking you this, let's say for hypothetically, for just for a moment, we're not Muslim, and religion isn't something that's life or death and paradise and hellfire. But there's a man here who says to you that I am God, and you were like, what? Prove it to me. Okay, then die, come back to life. Or kill someone in front of you, bring them back to life, brings your father back to life who's been dead for 10 years. It's quite difficult to not believe that this man is at least something close to God, right? So the point is that he's not going to say, look, I am Dajjal, and for proof, look at Madonna's album, track number 3, or look at all of these years of people doing, fahisha and listening to music and zina and all of these things. And now's the time for me to land. When he comes, he's Dajjal. He's going to do a madness. He's going to do a lot of things that are unexplainable or undescribable or cannot be made sense of naturally.
Okay, now I get your point. He makes a good point. But listen to this now, right? Earlier on in the podcast, I mentioned when I was asked about my experiences in Makkah, when I saw the guy wearing that thing. Yeah, this symbol has been linked to the Antichrist because it has.
Can you
one
show
eye.
Mohsen if it's the same badge? Can you confirm it? Because there is something. There's a specific detail that's missing. There's no pyramid.
No. That's the police. That's the police car. The police logo. Yeah, that doesn't have that doesn't have the pyramid on it or the triangle. But on this guy's armband, and this is before the update because they had a previous badge.
Right.
And that previous badge was like, but that wasn't.
Are you talking about this one?
That's the one. That's very same image. It was on my video, and all the other ones you see there that come up affiliated
It could
with
just
it.
be that we're keeping an eye on things.
What websites are coming up, by the way? Because they're probably
Is that
contributing to
plausible?
those websites.
Is that plausible? That's Pinterest. Is that plausible? That it could just be, we're keeping an eye on things. Police.
Middle East Eye, News Rescue.
It could be plausible, except when you look at all the other symbols in Saudi civil service, you start to notice a theme.
Okay, so
Right.
what is
Pyramids,
what is
triangles.
the significance of Saudi officials having pyramid and Masonic symbolism when we know that Dajjal will not be able to enter the two
Holy cities.
holy cities?
You have to keep your eyes open, right? And try and read where you are today.
Shall I
right?
keep it open like this, Bill?
No, do that one, innit?
Is that this one?
Do that one.
No, then the comments are going to go wild.
Look, bro, I always say these discussions are good, right? I'm on the fence about a lot of the things that are out there with regards to prophecy and its interpretation. There are some things that I believe that have happened, yeah? But a lot of the things that you find that I agree with, the majority of scholars also agree have happened as well. So when it comes to the minor signs, I'm in agreement. I say, look, bro, how can you say this hasn't happened?
Yeah, a lot of the minor signs have happened,
If not all of them, right? Allahu Alam. I don't know all the hadiths, so I can't comment.
Here's a broader question, right? Or probably more important, to me at least, yeah? Is, let's say, for argument's sake, that there are grounds and there are genuine kind of like, genuine explanation and meaning behind how people have interpreted end of times, major signs, Dajjalic society, all of these kind of things. And what? So what? What does this mean?
As an individual
what
Muslim.
does this mean now to a Muslim?
As an individual Muslim.
I love that you said that, and I'm going to put a close-up of my face when you said that, because I thought to myself, whoa, he's gone there. And I'm glad you have.
Because
this is a realization I had.
We said that to Small Jannah, bro. We had to say, so where does all this lead to?
Look,
as an individual
I still have to be a good Muslim. I still have to pay my salah.
My answer is
I still have to
this.
be good to my parents.
My answer is
I have to pay my sadaqah and zakat.
My answer is this, yeah. Before Qiyamah, before the end of time and all that, you're going to die.
Yeah.
So why don't you focus on that first? And this is something that, you know what, I started doing. So even though I film Shaykh Imran Hosein, this, that, and the other, I don't read any more of his books anymore. I don't really follow this stuff no more. I say it's important because it's part of every Muslim's journey to realize that, you know what, you got to take your own life more seriously. So for some people, the journey might be like mine, which is you go into conspiracies, you realize, hold on for a second, we've got our own prophecies here. I'm seeing certain things happen, and then you realize, before all this is probably going to come to pass, I'm going to die. And then you take your own life more seriously. You start to pray more. You start to worship Allah more. You start to do more charity. You start to become kinder to your parents. You start to go up to people that you've done wrong to and go and apologize and make things right again. These are the things that you start to focus on. And this is what makes you develop as a character. But for some people who are not so fortunate to have these experiences, what happens is they go into the conspiracy and they fall into this hole.
Just I don't mean to digress. Do you remember the Arrivals program?
Yeah.
The really hit YouTube show that everyone was talking.
I remember Arrival. I told you not to talk about this, but go on. Now you've opened that kind of.
Okay, fine. Okay. What do you think of that series, which got then outed as something that was between?
The Rivals was badass, man.
You know when it first came out.
Hold on, it was badass until it came out that it was something between a Christian and a Shi'i.
Yeah, but I don't know. It was fun.
You know, when I first started,
Was it? Did you ever hear these rumors that it was between? It had Christian involvement.
I'll tell you what it was because I know what happened.
Okay,
I got the insider on it.
Fill us in.
Right. So basically, when I first came across Arrivals, it kept getting taken down on YouTube, and other people were re-uploading it. neat fact here. I think in 2012 or 2013, there was a thing I come across a website, and it claimed that the Arrival's online documentary was the 192nd most watched documentary in the world, and it done it famously on the internet only.
That's
to reach
mad.
that position. So it reached a lot of people, right? The figures that you're going to see on the internet now don't actually reflect how many people that documentary reached in its 51 parts or whatever it was. When I first came across it, I was like, this is fascinating stuff. This is before the 1080p days, right? This was like 480p, low quality. A lot of it was copyright usage, abuse, I should say, yeah. And over sort of stimulating music and stuff like this, right? But the message it tried to bring out there was good. My battery's gone. All right, so that one's gone. No, never mind. So the message it tried to bring out was good. Unfortunately, by the time it hit the mid-20s or late 20 episodes, it started to digress towards a very Shia-orientated narrative. Yeah? So I had big issues with it, but I realized it was very popular. And on the forums I was on at the time, internet forums, this was being posted by Christians, by non-Muslims, by atheists, everything. The hype around this documentary was real. It was big. So
It was huge.
It was huge, yeah. So long story short,
Do you know the guys who were involved behind
yeah.
it?
So there's Tariq who's Akinar. There's his brother Muhammad who's Noriega, and there's Abdullah Hashim, right? Whose name is Abdullah Hashim, right?
Are they Sunnis?
No, they're Shias. Now they had two forums. When I joined the forum, right? I was under the impression that Akinar and Noriega were Sunni and Abdullah Hashim was Shia, and most of us on the forum were under this impression. And that's why there were two forums. There was Hashim's Films and there was Wake Up Project, which was Akinar and Noriega. But they both had an administrator moonlighting both forums, whose name is Z, a female. And later on I discovered that Akinar and Noriega are Shia. So is...
How did you discover that?
Long story.
It became a thing. Everyone knew it afterwards.
Long story, but yeah, it's a fact, yeah. They're admins on Wake Up Project, whose name is Insha, and his wife, Peanut Q Public. These were the online names, yeah. I won't mention their real names. They were also Shia as well. In fact, every moderator was Shia on Wake Up Project. And basically, I lost heart with that. I thought to myself, this is why there's so much, censorship on what we're saying, and a lot of posts go missing, this, that, and the other.
And I just want to clarify for our viewers and listeners who think that this is like some kind of anti-Shi'i tirade. It's not. It's because when it comes to the kind of end of time prophecies in Islamic eschatology, there is stark differences.
Yeah, there's a lot of discrepancy.
stark differences between what Ahl Sunnah believe, or generally believe, and that of the Shi'i.
Yeah. So especially in regards to the Mahdi
And all that,
right?
yeah.
And the end times characters, like they believe in certain characters
Yeah,
that we don't
yeah,
even have in our text.
yeah,
and stuff. There's all this other stuff, right? Which could be said is a bit of a Dajjal in itself, right? From the Sunni perspective, and probably vice versa from the Shia perspective. Allahu Alam, right? I can't speak for them. But it was very, very controversial. Is that one still playing? Good.
Yeah.
It was very, very controversial. And I left the forum. I actually engineered my own ban. I called out a lot of people and then made myself banned.
So where was the rumor that a Christian was involved in it? Was that a rumor?
That was I don't know about no Christian.
Okay.
There were Christians who helped with the project. I believe there was a guy. What was his name? There was a spiritual guy. I'm not sure if he was Christian or not. He had, I think it's called Purpose Films or something else.
Okay.
I'm not sure. It might be someone else. It might be something else. But there were. So it was an attempt from people from different religions to try and make this documentary, which really, when it comes to the idea of documentary, is a bit of a stretch, because it's not a documentary. It's basically just text with other people's footage thrown in, and you have to be very impressionable to follow it. I like what they were trying to do. It didn't quite hit it for me, especially when I hit like 25th or so episode, and I realized this is just an exercise in brainwashing you into the Shia narrative, right?
So you bought a book recently. What was it called? The book that you
Tell us about
It's
it.
got a long title, man.
But it's something to do with Yajuj and Majuj, yeah?
So this book was written by Emery van Donzel and Andrea Schmidt, who attempt to follow the journey of Salam al-Tarjumani, who was Salam the interpreter from, I think it was the 9th century actually.
Hmm.
It was the
How much do you spend on this
Caliph,
book?
£109.
Okay.
I've been wanting this since 2014.
Why is the book so expensive?
It's
It's almost like Yajuj Majuj priced it themselves.
It's published by Brill.
It's published?
by Brill.
Okay.
All their books are expensive because they're very academic, limited print runs.
Okay.
Right. So I still don't think it should be that expensive. But Allahu Alam.
But recap very quickly what this book's about.
So these books are.
Have you read it? Have you finished it?
No, I haven't even started yet.
Okay.
To be honest with you, but I've read bits of it online. Yeah. And that's why I wanted to get this book. I've got the PDF, but
Yeah.
I'm not the kind of guy who reads PDFs. I prefer to have a real book in my hands.
Yeah.
So I can scribble in the margins, highlight certain bits with different highlighter color pens. But long story short, this book attempts to follow the journey of Sulaiman al-Tarjumani, who was tasked with finding the barrier of Zulkarnain against Gog and Magog, Yajuj Majuj.
By one of the Abbasid Khalifs.
Yeah, Khalif al-Watiq.
Yeah,
Billah,
so-
yeah.
yeah.
And he left with a group of men that had a big budget to go across different countries in the attempt to locate this barrier. This journey, this adventure, this epic adventure to locate the barrier resulted in him thinking he found it. Yeah. And what Schmidt and Donzel do is they go through his story mainly from the accounts of Ibn Qurdabi and some others, right? And try to locate these places that he's described with actual places on the world map, right?
So one being Central Asia, you said.
Yeah, so
Modern day Central Asia.
and in fact, all the barriers are in that region of Central Asia. So all the barriers that have been mentioned in this book and in other books as well are in that region. So there are some crazy theories out there about where Yajuj Majuj are, but they all generally point to the same geographical space or region. Yeah, and what I find fascinating is when you open this book. Books usually dedicated to someone, right? Books usually this book is dedicated to the unjustly enclosed.
Oh bloody hell!
The unjustly enclosed. So whenever we read about Yajuj Majuj, we're reading it from a Christian, Judaic, or Islamic point of view. Now I'm reading it from the opposite,
A pro
Yajuj Majuj point of view, and I find that fascinating. I think that was worth spending the 109 quid for, yeah.
They should
Because
close themselves.
why would you write that?
Doesn't make any sense.
Unless-
Here's a question: how would you have any affiliation to a tribe like Yajuj Majuj?
They're not Muslim though, these lot.
No. How would any human being have
Why?
any connection
Bro-
to Yajuj Majuj?
Bruv, some social,
want to affiliate with
bruv,
them,
some social,
except for just
yeah, bruv, for some social justice
be
work,
rebellious.
from some social justice cats will
Of
be
course,
like,
of
yo,
course,
they
like,
should.
oh,
Let
if
me-
this is true,
bro,
if this
bro.
myth is true, then I stand for the people who've been
Let me
unjustly enclosed.
let me pose it to you. Why wouldn't they? Today you have people who are anti-religion, right? Atheists, yeah, militant atheists. For them, they would be proudly affiliated with Gog and Magog because they seem to be brethrens in that sense. Not just that, bro. I mean, you've got people from the political sphere claiming themselves to be Gog and Magog in history. It's a fact.
I mean, classically, I think some ulama did
I
once
think
think.
people are bonkers.
Yeah, I think that classically, I think some ulama did think that the Mongols were Yajuj and Majuj.
Yeah.
Yeah, look.
Well, at least one of the waves.
Yeah, one of the waves.
Yeah. So.
So are they people in the middle of the Earth's core?
Nah, man, that's nonsense, bro. Come on.
That
Where's
plucking
the
away?
evidence?
Listen,
So that-
listen,
where's
you
the
can't,
evidence?
listen, you wouldn't be able to survive in an oven. What do you mean by middle of the Earth's core?
Exactly, bro.
First of all, Yajuj
Oh,
Majuj are human-
no. I think what he's referring to is there's a theory called inner Earth, where basically at the North
There's
Pole
a-
and
there's a
South Pole there's an
community.
entrance, yeah, and with the magnetic, there's no magnetic center, rather the magnetic part of the Earth
Already
is
sounds
actually
like
on the
bullshit.
crust. It's a lot of, yeah, it's a lot of nonsense.
Okay,
yeah.
so
Load of
I mean, there's a story. There's
so
a
the
story
Bani
of-
Adam, they're human beings, yeah.
Yajuj Majuj are humans, isn't it? There are people that existed until they were imprisoned in this way.
Yeah.
They existed amongst the people suffered as a result of their atrocities.
so-
Dhul Qarnayn, with the people asked for his support. Dhul Qarnayn, with the help of others, he created a barrier that was made of molten lead and iron. It was impenetrable.
we don't know if it was lead. It could have been copper.
Well, yeah.
It's because the only word he gives is kitra, which we don't know what that.
Yes, sure.
Yeah.
Okay, so
So they're human beings.
So- so
they're savage,
Yeah.
ruthless,
We
murderous.
even have descriptions
people.
of them in Hadith where they say their faces will be flat like shields, and they'll be wearing horsehair shoes.
no, I swear
this,
that was.
this seems to
I'm sure that was Turks and Mongols.
yeah. So this seems to describe the Mongol, the Turkic Mongol-like peoples.
Okay, so let me. Okay, so just wrapping up now. Yeah. So are we saying that as we speak right now, in this very time, somewhere on Earth, there are these people
Yes.
that are trying to break away.
They're on planet Earth.
They're on planet Earth, and they're trying to break away from this.
So you believe the barrier still exists?
Of course.
Okay.
And
I don't.
Okay, do you believe that? So that means you don't believe that one day they'll say Inshallah and they'll break
So you
through.
believe that?
I believe they're already out, bro.
Do you believe they're in the open now?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it explains a lot of what's going through the world right now as well.
As far as there's a hadith, I think it's in Sahih Muslim, that talks about when they start to break away at this barrier, and to the point where they could see the light through the opposite end of the barrier, they will say, "We will return and continue tomorrow." And then
inshallah,
they will come and
yeah.
it's filled. It's prepared.
So do you believe that the Mongols of Genghis and his sons?
Yeah, absolutely.
That were.
I reckon they were one of the waves.
Okay, so look, just wrapping up here. You believe they're already out and about,
Yeah.
or we've had waves of them.
Yeah.
You believe, and I'm more inclined towards this. That
I believe the hadith states that when Yajuj Majuj do come out, Isa alayhi salam and his followers towards the end of time will be advised and will be directed through revelation to go to a location away from them.
Okay, so first of all, you got to remember is this year is your
Mohsen's on that straight away.
What you got to remember is that they come wave after wave. So they got, and another thing, I want to throw you a curveball now, yeah, bro. Right? If you look at Surah Al-Kahf, ayahs numbers 83 to 99 is the story of Zulkarnain and Yajuj Majuj and the barrier, right?
Yeah.
The barrier was built to protect a group of people or a tribe of people who live between two mountains. Nowhere in the Quran or in the Hadith does it mention that the barrier was built to protect all of humanity.
But wait, okay, so but
Find me the
but there is
find me
a
the reference.
But there is an assumption also in what you said is that Yajuj Majuj come in waves. And that Yajuj Majuj exist in other locations.
So look at it like
and
this.
that they're not wholly
Wait,
connected.
bro. Let me lead you a little bit more.
Because you suggest that they could be from Europe and they could be Mongols.
So, but here's the thing now. If you
What is
look,
that based
if
on?
you look historically, Central Asia was dominated by two racial tribes. Yeah, two racial groups.
Yeah,
which had many tribes.
Yeah, the Mongoloids.
The Scythians and the Turanians. Turanians and the Mongoloids come from the Turanians, and the sort of like red-haired, blonde-haired, blue-eyed, green-eyed came from the Scythians.
Why are we interested in Central Asia?
So this is where it all points towards. If you look at historically, from Josephus, from some of the oldest scholars who are non-Muslims, they would point towards this area.
But what about Muslims? What about
Muslims also point towards it. They say the Mongols. And why would they say the Mongols? Because only the Mongols were relevant to their existence. They were attacked by the Mongols. Right? We were attacked by the Mongols.
Right, we're going to be here till... Okay.
We can go on, bro. This is going over 2 hours, man.
Oh, this is way over 2 hours now.
So, brother, I'm going to cut this out.
No. This is going to stay. Look, I think Aki's questioning and skepticism is very healthy.
Alhamdulillah.
It's needed.
But then this is how I was as skeptical as you once upon a time. And maybe I'm wrong and you're right. Allahu alam. Maybe I've gone down the wrong road. Allahu alam.
Maybe you're both wrong.
Maybe we're both wrong. Allahu alam. Maybe I'm right and you're wrong. Allahu alam.
Possible,
Yeah? Which I prefer.
But I am more inclined towards thinking that this is something that's specific to an end of time event, and as opposed to something that's already happened in waves.
I think one thing we can all agree upon is that when that final wave happens, it will be beyond doubt. We'd all agree on that. When that final wave happens, because that's going to be the one where Isa al-Islam is going to go to the Mount.
Whether it's the final wave or the first and final wave, when that happens, I think it'll be undeniable, very close to Judgment Day.
Yeah.
And on that note, we close today's very extensive and elaborated podcast, but we're not entirely done yet. There is the challenge. And so you're going to do all 3 challenges. You don't even get a choice. So
Bro, I've got a bad shoulder and a bad elbow. Okay, fine.
Okay. But I believe you have something for us.
I'm going to hit you back with a challenge and you can't say no because you're making me do all 3. I'm going to make you do this challenge.
Pull out the
what are we doing first,
Mr. Naga. It has to be Mr. Naga first.
Mr. Naga, I heard that you wanted to do something crazy.
He wanted to do Mr. Naga and Bond together.
Did you?
If I can get away without doing the arm wrestle.
Yeah, do that. Yeah, I want to see that.
I need to see that.
I need to see what's going to happen to us.
I'm wrestling tomorrow.
You guys are mad, bro.
So do you want me to set this whole barn up for you?
Of course.
And then finish it with a quenelle of Mr. Naga, yeah?
So give 2 leaves, Zui, yeah?
What 2 leaves? What's 2 leaves about?
No, because one leaf can be too little.
This one's going to send you to Thingy, the 3rd wave.
Let me set mine on.
You
guys are nuts, bro.
After this, it's going to be wave after wave.
Oh God, I need to delete that. What have you got, bro? What are you messing about with?
I bought dawa, bro. I bought medicine for you guys.
I don't think we can remember. Open this.
Is camera still rolling?
Yeah.
Alhamdulillah.
Is that too much?
He deals with it.
You
No, no, no,
yo,
no,
don't try and kill me, bro. Yeah? Actually, go on, just do it, man.
Be
Bismillah.
just.
That's legit.
Yeah.
You can.
Go to the camera, show it properly, man.
That's like Ban and Gua and Chaman Bahar and Mr. Naga.
This is crazy.
This is insane. Like, Bengalis. Bengal.
People who can see, you call yourself Bengali. Do this.
Like Mr. Naga with Gua, Supari, Chaman Bahar. Puff, come here quickly. Give him his water as well.
Let me
Give me that one, done it now.
There you go, brother.
Oh my God. Oh my God.
This is, you're gonna start thinking different types of end of times things happening.
Which one? This side.
Tell me the truth. Don't try to be acting big, yeah? Because you got sweet there, you got bitter, then you got Mr. Naga there.
Oh dear Lord.
Oh my God.
Yeah. When you suggested that,
This is when that close-up camera needs to be on me, man.
have you got water? Tell me,
I ain't touched this. Yeah, there's one here.
tell me what you're experiencing. I need to know what's going on.
Yeah, what is happening? It's just.
There's be Bengalis watching this thinking, what's
There's
this?
a part in my mouth, but I don't want to be there.
Okay, fine. Okay, we got the message.
Oh my God.
What's the most overpowering thing? The Naga, innit?
Of course it is.
Yeah. But things I like Naga, just not on its own.
Okay, drink some water. Please drink some water.
Gavi's gone.
I'll have to look, but drink some water, brother. Oh my God. This is your idea, by the way. Yeah. You said you wanted Ban and Mr. Naga together. That stopped filming.
That one's finished as well. That's the one I lost legs.
Is that one still working?
Yeah, that one's still running.
Stop. Let me turn this one over.
How you shooting?
You have to recover. There's some hard stuff in here. Supari, that's Supari.
That's the body.
Body,
What am I
yeah.
supposed to do with this thing?
So
You have a choice. You either spit it out or you eat it.
You either spit or swallow.
You know what I'm waiting, man? You managed to get as well. Right. I'll be nice on you.
What's this? What's this?
Red or yellow?
Huh?
Red or yellow?
What is this?
These are spoons, man. Red or yellow?
This looks like Adam.
Hang on.
Yo, this looks like Adam stuff.
Red or yellow? Now these are measuring spoons for chefs.
Yellow.
Yellow.
Yellow. Yeah, you want yellow or you want red?
Nah, he's tricked us. He's made us think that the big red one is the small one and the yellow one's gonna be a thing like, I choose red.
You want red? You want yellow?
Let me see the
Or
other
you
one.
can choose any of these.
Let
You
me
can
see
choose
the other
purple
ones.
if you want.
No.
Let me Google the brand.
No, you can't do that. Stop that.
Bro, we ain't got time, man. Camera's gonna die on us.
Red as well. I choose red as
You
well.
want red, yeah?
Red, yeah.
Both of you know you could
Yeah,
choose
yeah,
one.
red,
No,
red,
we
yeah,
choose
yeah.
red.
Both on red. Alright, so you
Yeah.
got the smallest one, yeah? You lucky guys, man. Right.
Who told you to do Ban and Mr. Naga together?
My conscience.
Yeah. What's this you're giving us?
I'm giving you something called the bomb.
Oh, but tell us what it
What
is.
is it?
At least we tell you
Chili
what.
sauce, bruv.
Huh?
I know about the bomb, bruv.
Okay, Mohsen, chill innit, bruv. What you did?
I know about this.
Just for good measure.
First, tell me, is this something that you eat
Coming
with
out,
food?
nail polish, bruv.
I don't know. I've never tried it.
Pass me the bottle. Let me see the bottle, please.
Where's my water?
Mohsen, let me see the bottle.
Wait,
please,
wait.
brother.
Wait, before you do that, let me just get this camera in close, bro.
Yo,
Smells nice,
that's not right, you know.
It's just smell that soy sauce.
Come on, bro. Be a man.
Listen now, man.
It's gone for it.
Just dodged it, bro.
Okay.
Bro, come on. Bro, come on. Mohsen, this isn't right.
Yo, what is this? Your face is switching differently.
Mohsen, come on, man.
What is that? Yo, you're sweating. No, send me the bottle, please. Let me see the bottle.
Mohsen.
Yo, what's it?
You know what Scoville units are? Scoville units.
Of course I was going. What is this? What's this? 100,000?
1.5 million.
1.5 million? What the fuck's $500,000, bro? 1.5 million. Yo, ingredients. Yeah, the ingredients haven't us.
Yeah, the ingredients is habanero.
Stop!
Habaneros, pepper extract, apricot nectar. Pepper juice, corn syrup, sugar, citric. Nah, I've got a headache.
Yo.
I've got a headache already.
Family's going to my eyes. Close the podcast. Close it. Bro, I'm just coughing and I've not even had anything. Close it, Zuri. What do you mean close it? Where's the camera? The cameras are gone. What a dramatic end of the podcast. We did not anticipate this. Mohsen came back with a massive counter right hook with this savage substance which is called the bomb. Looking at Dilly's reactions, I highly advise you guys stay away from this unless you're planning to do something terrible to a friend, but more likely a foe. Brothers, sisters, friends, family, Jazakallah khair for being with us for this episode, our 2nd anniversary. We really, really appreciate it, and we are so grateful for you following us during our journey in these first 2 years, and inshallah many more years ahead. Jazakallah khair for our special guest, Mohsen, today, who is our cameraman and the mastermind behind a lot of the creativity in our podcast. And please don't forget to like, share, subscribe, and we'll see you for the next episode. But are you okay? Assalamu alaikum. I need to go see him.
You still messed up?
Mohsen, you're dead.
Blood Brothers Podcast, 5 Pillars Production.